Your Majesty. Since you have served me since childhood, I'll give you a chance. Go solve it yourself. She stammered, Your Majesty, Yes, I will obey your command. Switching to June Buffon's location, he asked his subordinates, How's everything going? As instructed by the young master, we've already controlled the imperial envoy and arranged the genius banquet. Rest assured, young master, over these years we've quietly built up quite a bit of power. If the poisoned wine doesn't work, we still have the power of the 5 emperors hidden among the participants to surround and kill her. Very good. Though 6,000 years have passed, with the scarce resources of the demon realm, Ji Jiao absolutely cannot have reached the emperor level. She will definitely die this time. Suddenly, a shout came from outside, Jun Fan. He immediately ordered, You all step back. He quickly opened the door, Qing Zhu, has the banquet ended? Qing Zhu replied, Yes. Jun Fan then said, Come in and have some water, take your time. After a conversation, he angrily cursed, Ji Jiao, in order to please Gu Chang'e, actually made you serve her and even wants you to deal with me, truly heartless. Qing Zhu added, Not only that, Gu Chang'e also mentioned your name in front of the queen. Hearing this, he thought to himself, It seems there's no more time to delay. Then Qing Zhu asked, Jun Fan, what should I do next? Jun Fan said, Zhu'er, I need your help with something. As long as this succeeds, we will no longer have to worry about Ji Jiao, and we won't have to hide like rats anymore. After hearing this, she hesitantly asked, WH. What is it? Jun Fan took out the previously obtained poison bottle and said, This is a rare poison I painstakingly found. It's highly effective against Supreme Realm cultivators. Qing Zhu was shocked, What? Jun Fan continued, I know you're in charge of Ji Jiao's daily spiritual food, and you also manage the pills she uses to cultivate her divine essence. As he placed the poison bottle in her hands, he comforted her, I know you don't want to harm her, but will she let you go? When the time comes, who can save you? Qing Zhu, holding the poison bottle, trembled slightly and said, You want me to poison the queen? How? How can I? Qing Zhu, don't worry. This pill, when taken alone, actually has nourishing effects. No one will suspect you. I know you're kind-hearted, but you must understand, if she finds out about us, Ji Jiao is ruthless, she won't hesitate to kill you. If she shows no mercy first, why should you hesitate? You are just fighting for your own happiness. Besides, I assure you, only you and I know about this. After hearing this, she finally felt at ease and said, I trust you. How confident are you about this? Jun Fan embraced Qing Zhu and said, If you're successful, the chances of victory are over 90%. Only when she dies can we be free. Qing Zhu nodded in agreement after hearing this. After a moment, Qing Zhu left. Jun Fan looked at her back and thought to himself, Qing Zhu, forgive me, you know too much. She had already been poisoned in the tea she just drank. He secretly thought, if the plan succeeds, I'll give you the antidote. At that moment, in Gu Chang'e's room, he was playing chess with Jiang Lichen. A subordinate came to report, Young master, the woman you asked me to monitor left the palace and seemed to have gone to the Black and White Academy. But she didn't stay there long and quickly left. It looks like she went to find someone. But the stay was too brief, more like delivering a message. It seems Jun Fan is currently hiding in the Black and White Academy. They might be discussing what to do with that maid for Ji Jiao the queen. It's also possible that they tampered with her spiritual food or pills, but this is unlikely. With Ji Jiao's vigilance, it would be very hard to succeed. Jiang Lichen thought gloomily to himself, I'm not bad at chess, why can't I win a single game? Is this guy good at everything? Suddenly, he spoke, no, wait. 3 days from now is the Demon Realm's talented young master banquet. Many families from the 9 great domains will come to the Black and White Academy. Ji Jiao will also appear then. Seeing him spacing out, Jiang Lichen took the opportunity to secretly swap a chess piece. Gu Chang'e was unaware and continued, at that time, with so many people, if I were the demon emperor's son. The talented young master banquet will definitely be a good opportunity to make a move. Keep monitoring her actions. And report to me immediately if anything unusual happens. The subordinate immediately responded, yes. After giving the instructions, he said, your turn. However, Jiang Lichen smiled brightly and gestured for him to take another look at the chessboard. After a while, Jiang Leshen was massaging Gu Chang'e's shoulders, and she casually asked, aren't you friends with the queen of the demon realm? Aren't you going to warn her? Oh, why hurry? Hearing this, she secretly thought, people who are friends with you are truly a disaster. He, on the other hand, was thinking, from the looks of it now, Bai Kuan's daughter Bai Liener and his disciple haven't acted to save him. That means they've already entered the demon realm. I wonder if they've found Jun Bufan. 3 days later, at the Tianjiao banquet, wow. Today, the Black and White Academy will definitely be more lively than ever. I heard that a heavyweight figure from the upper realm, Gu Chang'e, is coming to attend the banquet. Is it true? Among the crowd, Bai Liener and her junior brother were walking. Her junior brother asked, Liener Jia, do you think we can find the person master mentioned this time? Liener replied, if we can't find him here, with how vast the demon realm is, it's impossible for us to find him. The junior brother asked again, if we give this to him, can we return and save master? Bai Liener fell silent and didn't answer. But she was thinking, dealing with Gu Chang'e is not that simple. On the sacred mountain of the Black and White Academy, many people had gathered. The Tianjiao banquet is held once every 20 years, and it has finally started. This time, I must make it into the top 100. Look, that's senior sister Song. She will definitely make it into the top 10. A general standing by admired, Master, your daughter already has such impressive talent at this age. Truly enviable. The Master smiled broadly from the praise, ha ha ha, your 3 sons are also excellent. Ha ha ha, I think they're quite a match. Hearing this, the elder thought of Gu Chang'e and said, oh, let the young people handle their own matters. We shouldn't interfere. The people around began discussing again, Jun Bufan, it's Jun Bufan, the young champion of the demon realm. They truly are a perfect match. Jun Bufan stepped forward and asked, Yu Wei, I haven't seen you lately. Did you just return today? She answered, I couldn't leave, father gave me a few tasks. Jun Bufan, did you need something from me? I heard you attended the banquet a few days ago. How was young Master Gu Chang'e? Yu Wei evaluated, he's almost a perfect man. Jun Bufan was surprised and exclaimed, I rarely hear you praise someone like that. I'm just telling the truth. He gives me a surreal feeling, like a psychedelic painting. It feels unreal. Jun Bufan secretly thought, Gu Chang'e, you're an outsider. You'd better not interfere in our demon realm affairs. If not, I wouldn't mind dealing with you too. At this moment, a luxurious carriage flew across the sky, surrounded by the queen's attendants. Everyone also saw it. Look, Her Majesty the Queen is arriving, along with the 4 great female officials. Wait, that's the one sitting with the Queen looks like young Master Chang'e. Wow. That's impossible, even the female officials by the Queen's side aren't treated this well. Jun Bufan saw it too, and the girls around him excitedly shouted, is that young Master Chang'e? He's so handsome. Ah, my little demon. Heart is racing. Yu Wei said, at such a young age, he's already standing side by side with the leaders of the major sects. Inside the carriage, Gu Chang'e seemed to have already seen Jun Bufan, and his attendant, Shi Jiao, asked, I wonder. Young Master Chang'e, how do you think the talents of our demon realm compare to those of the upper realm? He replied, if we're talking about cultivation, these talents from the demon realm are at most average in the upper realm, even inferior. Hearing this, Shi Jiao also sighed, yes, most of them don't even have the qualifications to enter the true immortal library. He suddenly added, but the main reason is the huge difference in the cultivation environment. The demon realm lacks resources, and there are fewer top-tier scholars than in the upper realm. Shi Jiao continued, that's why I want to change the current state of the demon realm, but there's always someone obstructing me, choosing to remain conservative. After listening, Gu Chang'e said, right or wrong, good or bad, it will be judged by future generations. Moreover, I think with Her Majesty's ability, she can do everything, no need to worry about that. Does young Master Chang'e trust me so much? He said, a wise person would do so. In my eyes, Her Majesty is that kind of person. With a desire in her heart, her wishes will surely spread across mountains and seas. The demon realm is as vast as a beach, the more you try to hold on to the sand, the more it slips through your fingers. Chaos inside and outside, how can one not admire the Empress for reaching this level on her own? So, young Master Chang'e, are you flattering me? He immediately replied, flattery. If your Majesty thinks so, then yes, I rarely say such things to others, unless I have some ulterior motive. Oh. With young Master Chang'e's strength and status, how could you have any ulterior motive towards my demon realm? He explained, there are only two kinds of motives, one is wealth and power, and the other is people. And I already possess wealth and power. Hearing him speak, He mistakenly thought he was confessing, looking at him in surprise. She quickly changed the topic and turned around to cough and said, Qingzhu, give the orders. It can begin now. Yes, yes, your Majesty. But Qingzhu secretly thought, am I seeing things? Is Her Majesty a bit flustered? Then Qingzhu spoke, the Empress orders that the first 100 people to reach the peak of the holy mountain will be granted the Empress's wine. Life and death are fated. The young hero feast begins now. The heroes immediately rushed forward and said, for the Empress, for the demon realm. But when they stepped onto the steps, they were startled by the oppressive pressure that knocked them to the ground. Ah! Damn it, is this as far as I can go? Just as they struggled, Jun Fan calmly walked up from below, as if unaffected by any obstacles. That's Jun Fan, is he that strong? Truly worthy of being the first young hero of the demon realm. Ji Chang'e, walking with He Yao, asked, is this holy mountain the standard used to evaluate the young heroes of the demon realm? Yes, this holy mountain is full of mechanisms, and once entered, it exerts powerful pressure. The young heroes must figure out how to cope and compete for the limited spots to climb to the top. After hearing this, he thought to himself, indeed, it's a terribly outdated design. The people in the stands must be influential demons or powers, right? Seeing him in deep thought, He Yao asked, what's wrong? Did young Master Chang'e notice something? Ah! It's nothing, just suddenly a bit worried. Doesn't His Majesty worry about this today? Worried about being assassinated? I'm already used to it. All right. Let's see who will be the first this time. Qingzhu, overhearing the conversation, thought to herself, oh no, young Master Chang'e and Her Majesty are so close, something bad is bound to happen. She was holding a bottle of poison in her hand. On the way up the steps, people were discussing, Jun Fan is leading. At this speed, he might break the record that has stood for thousands of years, completely surpassing everyone behind, even Song Yue, the only daughter of the Grand Tutor. As expected, the first young hero of the demon realm lives up to the title. Is he really the third son of the King of Peace? The King of Peace, seeing his son leading, said happily, Fanner. You didn't disappoint me after all. The observing junior brother asked, Sister and I, do you think that young man is the one we're looking for? She answered, there's no mistake. No one in the demon realm's current younger generation has such strength. Except him. But why did he choose this moment to climb to the top of the holy mountain? It's too eye-catching. Isn't He Yao the person he hates the most? Doesn't he fear His Majesty discovering his true identity? But he wants to prove himself. He wants to stand out in any environment. Humph. How naive. Jun Bufan, we used to be like siblings. But after you met He Yao, you really disappointed me. So if I can trust Ji Chang'e, I really want to give him that pouch and exchange it for my father's life. After some time, Jun Fan finally reached the peak. He Yao said, the third son of the King of Peace, Jun Fan, not bad. I didn't expect him to show such talent right from the start with such shocking performance. Ji Chang'e said, this person is quite special, Jun Fan. He Yao said, when I first heard, I was a bit surprised. Too, but the King of Peace is someone I personally supported. I know very well the background of his children. Oh. I see. He truly is a rare character, hard to come by. A lucky number appeared above Juanfan's head, a question mark. He clasped his hands together and said, Jun Fan, pay respects to the Emperor, pay respects to young Master Chang'e. He secretly sneered in his heart, this bastard, chatting so happily with Chang'e. But did you see that? I will always be the one people look up to. Young Master Chang'e also walked up and patted Juanfan's shoulder, congratulations on winning first place, Jun Buf. He subconsciously said, thank you. Suddenly, he froze, realizing he had said the wrong thing. Chang'e pretended to say casually, oh, I misspoke. I was stunned by your kingly aura and got your name wrong. You really are the pride of the heavens. At this moment, Jun Fan started to sweat and quickly said, young Master Chang'e, you flatter me. I dare not claim to be a son of the heavens in front of you. Shi Jiao stepped forward, enough. Stop scaring him. Jun Fan, take your seat. Thank you, Your Majesty. At this time, Shi Jiao looked at Chang'e in confusion, while Jun Buf used his spiritual sense to ask Qingzhu, is everything going smoothly? Qingzhu responded with spiritual sense, Your Majesty has not noticed anything unusual. After a while, Shi Jiao's voice rang out, the 108 geniuses are almost here. Qing Mei, Qing Lan, you two go arrange the seating. Qingzhu, go arrange the banquet. At this time, Chang'e also noticed that Jun Buf and Qingzhu were communicating via spiritual sense. Just then, the banquet officially began. Shi Jiao spoke, first, congratulations to all of you for qualifying to attend the Genius Banquet. Those who can sit here are the future of our demon world. I hope you will continue to work hard and contribute to the prosperity of the demon world. Everyone sitting there shouted in unison, long live Her Majesty the Queen. Long live Her Majesty the Queen. On the other side, some people stood and discussed, hey, I didn't see that wrong, did I? At the banquet, Yue Wei spoke, Brother Jun Fan, the strength you showed today really surprised me. Jun Buf smiled and responded, after all, this is a rare opportunity. Being able to showcase myself in front of Her Majesty the Queen, I certainly had to make the most of it. Across the main table, Chang'e spoke, Her Majesty the Queen has indeed put a lot into this genius banquet. This Bodhi fruit is truly precious. Shi Jiao picked up the wine jug, poured wine, and said, young Master Chang'e, why don't you try this special wine? It is brewed from ice lotus picked at the age of 800 million years. The male lead suddenly said, this is indeed special wine. Didn't the brewing method of this wine become lost? In ancient legends, only the geniuses were allowed to taste this wine. It is truly an honor, I am deeply grateful. Outside, some people who didn't participate in the banquet stood there discussing. Many were dissatisfied, saying, how awful. I was eliminated. How great would it be to taste a fruit or drink a cup of wine? The Grand Tutor was also there, saying, the scale of this genius banquet is beyond imagination. The king also laughed and added, Her Majesty the Queen has always valued those outstanding young people. Meanwhile, Jun Buf sat there leisurely thinking, drink up, Shi Jiao. Today's banquet is actually your funeral. Suddenly, a system message popped up, the wine contains unknown ingredients. Then Chang'e spoke, Her Majesty the Queen is so generous, perhaps they will thank her repeatedly. Shi Jiao responded, I don't need their thanks. I do this for the future of the demon race. The male lead Said, Your Majesty Shijiao truly has unparalleled insight, young Master Chang'e admires you greatly. Shijiao raised his wine cup and said, Thank you, young Master Chang'e, for coming all the way to the demon world to remind me. I toast to young Master Chang'e. The male lead smiled and responded, Your Majesty Shijiao, no need to be so polite. Then Shijiao, without any guard, drank the wine in one gulp, while the male lead just sat there, glancing over, but the giant eel quickly dumped the toxic wine. Shijiao asked, Young Master Chang'e, how is the wine? The giant eel's mouth trembled and replied, The taste of this wine must be good, but... Shijiao asked, But what? Qingzhu, standing to the side, thought, Your Majesty, please don't blame me. Chang'e said, But Your Majesty's tolerance for alcohol seems a bit lacking. Shijiao responded, What nonsense! How could my tolerance be bad? But soon she felt very dizzy. Her vision also became unclear. The male lead continued smiling and said, I can see you're having trouble staying steady. Shijiao clutched her head, thinking in panic, No, it's not because of my lifespan. Did I get poisoned? The male lead asked with concern, Your Majesty, are you all right? Shijiao turned around, wondering, did he do it? No, was it Jun Bufan? How did he manage it? I'm sure the priority wine was fine. Could it have been mixed with poison? The male lead spoke, Do you feel unwell, Your Majesty? Shijiao responded, Young Master Chang'e, let go of me, I'm fine. Gu Chang'e said, It seems you've been poisoned. Shijiao replied, I know, but I can't fall down now. She then collapsed into the male lead's arms. He panicked and said, Hey, hey. Don't collapse like this, why fall into my arms? Shijiao weakly said, I don't have the strength. Outside, the Grand Tutor and the King of Heaven saw something was wrong. They both exclaimed, Her Majesty seems off. What's going on? Her Majesty doesn't look well, something happened. She must have been poisoned, the priority wine is poisonous. Bai Lianer observed from a distance, thinking to herself, could Jun Bufan really succeed? Then the King of Heaven flew over and said, Everyone surround her, watch for assassins, protect Her Majesty. The crowd became agitated, What assassins? How could there be assassins? What's happening? Quickly, protect Her Majesty. Jun Bufan smiled proudly, thinking, the time has come, Shijiao, what you did to me 6,000 years ago. Today I will make you pay for it. Outside, the guards had already rebelled, killing the nearby soldiers and shouting, Queen Shijiao is cruel and vicious, today we will act on behalf of heaven and overthrow her rule. A mysterious figure swiftly passed through, stabbing those guards and shouting, Kill Shijiao. Then more and more mysterious figures appeared around. People panicked and said, Even the elders of the academy have remnants of the 5 emperors. Soon, those people broke through the protective circle and charged into the banquet. Jun Bufan stood up and said loudly, Protect Her Majesty, Your Majesty, don't worry, as long as we are here, no one will get near you. Young Wei shouted, Bufan, I'll leave the protection of Her Majesty to you, I'll go help over there. Jun Bufan replied, Young Wei, if you can't handle it, protect yourself and don't push too hard. Above, the King of Heaven, transformed into Susanoo, swung his spear and shouted, As long as I am here, no one can harm the Queen. Suddenly, an enemy holding 2 giant hammers rushed in quickly and shouted, King of Heaven, it's me you will fight. It really was just his size, the King of Heaven was struck by the enemy's hammer, revealing the ancestral spiritual power. The crowd screamed in terror, My God, it's over, the King of Heaven has been knocked away, the enemy has the strength of a quasi-supreme. Gu Chang'e laughed upon seeing this and said, It seems the Queen will be lucky to survive today. The quasi-supreme is just the appetizer, the truly powerful ones probably haven't shown up yet. Shijiao replied, This is my oversight today, but young Master Chang'e, you're not surprised because you already guessed someone would come to assassinate me, right? Or are you so casual, or do you have other plans? The male lead smiled and narrowed his eyes, answering, Is the Queen joking? I'm no prophet, how could I know everything? As for other plans, the queen is in danger now, isn't this the perfect time for me to save you? Shi Jiao said, a hero saving a beauty. Young Master Chang Kai really knows how to joke. If you take advantage of this, I've already thanked you. The male lead calmly replied, that's a good idea. While Her Majesty is weak, I'll make my move and force you to repay me. Shi Jiao said nothing and controlled the poison. Wei Bufan glanced at him and thought, still joking with Gu Chang'e even when you're about to die, truly deserving of death. It should be nearly time for Uncle Yi. In the distance, a group of people stood leisurely, observing the battle. A young man spoke, should we go save the emperor? The elderly bearded man replied, let them kill each other. If Shi Jiao dies here, it will be a good thing for our family, just put on a little show. The heavenly king was beaten like a dog, and he looked up in panic, saying, what? This pressure? A young man flew over, shouting, Father, it's a supreme-level expert. The Grand Tutor panicked and said, Yu Wei, retreat. We'll block him. Then the greenish aura rushed toward them, and the Grand Tutor cast a formation to block it. But it was useless, the mysterious person swiftly passed through the formation. He charged toward the banquet, and people around whispered, this supreme-level expert has such a terrifying aura, who exactly is this person? Gu Chang'e spoke, the main course has arrived. Shi Jiao sensed something and said, this aura. Wei Bufan smiled brightly and thought, Uncle Yi has finally arrived. The mysterious person drew out a black longsword and said, this little bitch harmed the country, today, I will act on behalf of heaven. I will only kill the leader, no one else will be pursued. Shi Jiao spoke, so it's Yi Yao with the Xianyang heavenly blade. He was once a general under the Xianyang demon. Emperor. I sent people to search for his whereabouts for many years, and I thought he was dead, but Gu Chang'e chuckled, although many years have passed, he's still loyal. He really should be the doorman. Shi Jiao thought, it seems there's a mastermind behind all of this. I wonder if Wei Bufan will appear. Yi Yao holds the Xianyang heavenly blade, and right now, I can barely stand, let alone summon imperial energy. It seems today. Several palace maids rushed out, shouting, protect the Empress. Protect Her Majesty. Shi Jiao forced herself to stand and said, you all step back, the target is me, it has nothing to do with you. Anyone below supreme level, even the great sage realm, is just an insect. Staying here will only increase casualties. The palace maid still insisted, saying, Your Majesty, we won't leave. Our lives were given by you, how can we abandon you? Now. We are willing to live and die with Her Majesty. Yes, even if we go to another world, we will stay by your side. Yi Yao glared and said, it's only been 6,000 years, and so many people have been fooled by you. If that's the case, I won't leave a single one of Shi Jiao's lackeys alive. They must all die. Shi Jiao looked at the male protagonist and said, Chang'e, what you mentioned before, I will consider carefully, but now, trouble. Gu Chang'e smiled confidently and said, Your Majesty Shi Jiao, you're being too polite. Actually, what I like most is to draw my sword and help. Yi Yao heard this and said, Gu Chang'e, this is a matter of the demon realm, you're an outsider. I advise you not to interfere. I don't want to kill you, but if you think you can do whatever you want just because you're from the Changxinggu family, then don't blame me. After that, Yi Yao unleashed a tremendous force, creating a powerful magnetic field that made everyone in the banquet room struggle to breathe. Gu Chang'e was not to be outdone, and after unleashing his own power to protect himself, he advanced and responded. That's right, I'm just an outsider, I didn't want to interfere in the demon realm's matters, but... As soon as he finished speaking, the male protagonist released his power, reflecting Yi Yao's green aura back at him. He then continued, in the future, Shi Jiao will be mine. If you dare touch her in front of me, aren't you courting death? Yi Yao angrily swung his sword and shouted, arrogant. Gu Chang'e, today I will kill Shi Jiao. This is your last chance, get lost now, or I will get angry. The male protagonist fearlessly rushed forward, confidently saying, I've already said, you cannot touch Shijiao. If you seal your cultivation and kneel to beg for mercy now, maybe I will spare your life. Yi Yao, hearing this, furiously shouted, Gu Chang'e, you really want to die. Jun Bufan, who was still below, thought, Uncle Yi really seems angry. Gu Chang'e, you've brought this on yourself. Gu Chang'e laughed and replied, ha ha ha. Stop talking nonsense, old man. Are you not afraid that my Gu family will crush your family into the ground? After that, the male lead raised his hand and shot a sword forward. Upon seeing this, Yi Yao was extremely surprised. Then he shouted, you little brat, you dare to strike first. After saying that, Yi Yao began to gather his energy and swung his sword fiercely at the male lead. When the sword energy slashed toward the male lead, his sword energy was shattered. Gu Chang'e stared in shock, his eyes wide, and blurted out, the resonance of the great Tao. Although Yi Yao's strike was immensely powerful, it still couldn't touch a single hair on the male lead's body. Shi Jiao, who was below, shouted anxiously, young Master Gu Chang'e, be careful. This is bad. The power from his Xianyang heavenly blade has already reached the resonance of the Emperor Realm's great Tao, and the sound waves of his magical energy are shaking the heavens and earth. The palace maids nearby could only scream, holding their heads. One of them said, Your Majesty, it seems that young Master Gu Chang'e is more at risk than lucky this time. Yi Yao's strike not only created shockwaves but also spread outside, causing everyone to cover their heads and ears, their faces filled with pain. Those with weaker cultivation were directly struck and vomited blood. Jun Bufan, seeing this scene, grinned with pride and said, even if your identity is noble and your power is immense, this strike is enough to kill you 10 times over. However, when he saw something, his expression immediately turned to one of surprise. Through the hazy mist, a brilliant pillar with a pattern appeared in front of him. It turned out that the male lead had used the heavenly tower palm for protection. Gu Chang'e stood inside it and shouted, What are you chopping at? It's so weak. Haven't you eaten? This move feels like scratching an itch. Emperor Realm? How strange. Yi Yao looked at this in horror and shouted, This is the legendary heavenly tower palm. How could it be in your hands? Shi Jiao also said in shock, so the heavenly tower palm has already fallen into his hands. How many more moves is he hiding? Gu Chang'e stood there, holding the heavenly tower palm like a boss. Yi Yao began to feel anxious, thinking, if this continues, it will be very hard for me to get close to Shi Jiao. Looks like I'll have to go and hold him off myself, and let the others deal with Shi Jiao. Then he transmitted his voice to Jun Bufan, saying, I'll hold off Gu Chang'e. You all find a chance to get close and kill Shi Jiao. Jun Bufan replied, Understood. Uncle Yi, be careful. However, because of the system in his body, Gu Chang'e heard everything clearly. The male lead glanced down and thought, damn it, these two idiots dare to conspire in front of me. They're really bold. The male lead then used the heavenly tower palm to strike at Yi Yao, shouting, that dog, how distracted, go to hell. Yi Yao smiled and blocked with his sword, then activated a barrier and said, Gu Chang'e, come with me. After saying that, Yi Yao pulled Gu Chang'e into the barrier and they disappeared. The people below shouted in panic, this is bad, young Master Gu Chang'e has been taken. Protect Her Majesty the Empress. Suddenly, 2 golden-armored guards flew over, shouting, Protect Her Majesty the Empress. Jun Bufan glanced behind and thought. Now that Ji Yao's cultivation has been sealed, and the palace maids have ordinary cultivation, there's nothing to worry about. Looks like it's time to act. Ji Yao, do you know how long I've been waiting for this day? Suddenly, the golden-armored guards on both sides swung their swords and lunged at Shi Jiao. They were clearly disguised as Jun Bufan's people. When the 2 guards rushed up, 2 geniuses flew out and mercilessly beat them up. One of them said proudly, Your Majesty, we are here to protect you, arranged by young Master Qinggu. Shi Jiao thought in panic, has even the Imperial Guard been infiltrated? Jun Bufan, seeing his plan disrupted, stood there trembling with anger. Inside the barrier, Qinggu spoke, damn it, this stinky dog, did you bring me here so far just to delay me? Unfortunately, you miscalculated. Han Yao widened his eyes and replied, Qinggu, have you always been so boastful? You don't even know that, although you have the heavenly tower, I also possess the Emperor's treasure. The male lead waved his hand loudly and said, using a magic tool is just to cover up, I don't want the world to be shaken. The male lead then took out the family heirloom spear, with black energy swirling around. At this moment, Han Yao realized what fear was, and he said in terror, what? This cold aura, are you the successor of demonic arts? Qinggu grinned and said, it's not time to reveal it yet, come on, stinky dog. Suddenly, the long sword in Han Yao's hand began to tremble violently. Han Yao lowered his head in fear and thought, what's going on, the Xianyang heavenly sword is actually afraid. How is this possible? Qinggu sneered and continued, this weapon is not bad, I'll take it back for Ming Kong to play with, she'll definitely like it. Han Yao focused his gaze on the male lead, and in this moment, he no longer dared to underestimate his enemy. Then, Han Yao shouted loudly, so what if you're the successor of demonic arts? Do you think you'll definitely win? With that, he released a powerful aura from his body. Han Yao then swung his sword at the male lead without hesitation, while Qinggu simply stood there calmly and said, what do you think? After speaking, Qinggu conjured a giant hand, which quickly grabbed toward Han Yao. Outside, a maid ran over to report, Your Majesty, I've passed the orders to the army in the palace, they will be here soon. Shi Jiao looked up at the sky and thought, it seems I've made a mistake, because the body in Jun Bufan's tomb disappeared, I thought. He was faking his death. Now, is he just hiding somewhere? But what if this is the way he intentionally led me to doubt? Maybe he already died, but before the Xianyang evil emperor disappeared, his soul was reborn. He's now reincarnated with the old memories. So I still can't find him. The Xianyang heavenly sword has appeared, how could Jun Bufan not be here? Where is he hiding? Ahead, Jun Bufan and his subordinates were still engaged in a fight. One of his subordinates, dressed in white, asked via voice transmission, Young Master, what should we do now? Jun Bufan replied, retreat. Uncle Han has been gone for too long, he must have run into trouble. The main force is almost here, we can't delay any longer. Then Jun Bufan's subordinates began to flee one by one. In the distance, Yu Wei spoke, Father, they've retreated. The Grand Tutor replied, yes, this time it's really thanks to young Master Qinggu. Jun Bufan glanced back and thought, Qing, I can only apologize to you. Yu Wei flew toward Shi Jiao and then said, Your Majesty, the assassins have all escaped. The surrounding maid started to discuss, that was a real shock, luckily young Master Qinggu held Han Yao back, otherwise the consequences would have been unimaginable. That's an imperial weapon, who knows who poisoned the Empress? They deserve to die. If the Empress were at her peak, she wouldn't have been afraid of Han Yao. Shi Jiao seemed to sense something, she looked back at Qing, the personal maid who hadn't made a move. She stood there, lost in thought, Jun Bufan, don't worry, I won't betray you. Suddenly, a spatial crack appeared above. The person who walked out was none other than the leader, Gu Chang'e. The geniuses saw this and cheered, shouting, that's young Master Chang'e, he's back. Did he defeat the night demon? Is that an existence of the highest order? The male lead only smiled slightly, with an evil glint. He then jumped down and said, after all, the opponent is the night demon, who wreaked havoc in the demon realm 6,000 years ago. Now, with the Xianyang heavenly blade in hand, it's like adding wings to a tiger. I fought him for over 100 rounds, but then, I don't know what news he heard, and he suddenly ran away. Such a pity. I didn't chase him too far out of concern for this place. Thankfully, you're safe, and I believe the assassins have all run away. Shi Jiao awkwardly said, thank you, young Master Chang'e, and thanks for your help. This queen is fine. Gu Chang'e said, it's good that you're fine, your majesty, no need to be polite. It's what I should do. Shi Jiao focused on the male lead, thinking suspiciously, his breathing is stable, no irregularities, and there are no signs on him. What is this about fighting for hundreds of rounds? Also, if the night demon really fled, how could Gu Chang'e be so relaxed and boasting? But how did he manage to kill the night demon so easily? Although the Gu family is stronger than the demon realm, Gu Chang'e is merely a quasi-supreme being. The geniuses around them started shouting, Your Majesty, your safety this time was truly thanks to young Master Chang'e. We thank him for driving away the night demon. The male lead just smiled slightly and thought, night demon. Jun Bufan. Just a pawn. The 6 great demon emperors suddenly disappeared, and I am more interested in their secrets. According to the information provided by the deceased at their last moments. Is it time to advance or attempt to infiltrate the immortal realm? Jun Bufan's face darkened as he thought, damn it, even with the Xianyang heavenly blade in hand, the night demon still lost. I can only continue hiding and wait for another opportunity. Gu Chang'e continued, by the way. About this rebellion, does the queen have a handle on the situation? The people around were also discussing, yeah. Who exactly poisoned the queen's wine? Shi Jiao turned and looked behind, speaking meaningfully, it was my own foolish arrogance that led to betrayal by those around me. From now on, wait for it, this kind of thing will never happen again. Suddenly, Qingzhu ran out and knelt, shouting, Your Majesty, kill me. It was Qingzhu who hurt the palace. Maids nearby gasped and said, Qingzhu, you. Lady Qingzhu, how could this be? How could this happen? Qingzhu sobbed and continued, Qingzhu shouldn't have poisoned your food. Shi Jiao furrowed her brows and turned, saying, 700 years ago, you were just a regular bamboo stalk, almost eaten by a demon bull. It was I who saved you and brought you back to the palace for training. I ask myself, I've not treated you poorly, what exactly do you have to say for yourself? Qingzhu clenched her hands tightly and replied, Kill me, your majesty. I can't say it. Shi Jiao shouted angrily, foolish. The palace maids anxiously said, Qingzhu, at this point, do you still want to hide it? What are you thinking? Shi Jiao coldly said, if that's the case, take her away for interrogation. Gu Chang'e thought, soft-hearted? A queen can't afford to be soft-hearted. Then he stepped forward and said, sigh. After all, she's just a little girl, it might be too cruel to use torture. Let's interrogate her soul instead. Qingzhu turned pale when she heard this. The people around shouted, yes. Interrogate her soul. If she doesn't want to speak, then interrogate her soul. Jun Bufan, upon hearing this, was burning with rage and thought, Gu Chang'e, you. Suddenly, Qingzhu, terrified, shouted, Your Majesty, I'll speak. I'll speak, actually, it was the night demon who contacted me and made me cooperate with him. But just as she was speaking, suddenly her body shattered into pieces, her body continuously melting away. Gu Chang'e said, it seems the mastermind has already made thorough preparations. Shi Jiao said, yes. Just like the other captured traitors. Immediately after, Qingzhu's body began to disintegrate more violently. She stared blankly in a certain direction. She stretched out her arm, trying to reach for her distant lover, thinking to herself, how did this happen? Fan. Seeing this, Ji Yao couldn't help but sigh. The male lead stood beside her and said, although Qingzhu is dead, we can still follow the clues to investigate further. I believe Her Majesty will soon find the mastermind behind this. Jun Bufan gritted his teeth and thought, Qingzhu. I will not let your sacrifice be in vain. The scene shifted to a late-night location. Steam filled the bathroom, and smoke swirled in the air. Gu Luan was sitting, tasting wine, occasionally picking up a chicken leg. Through the curtain, his dinner. Was Ji Yao taking a bath? She spoke up, if I had rejected you then, I wouldn't be here now, would I? Gu Changde smiled and asked, what do you mean, your majesty? Ji Yao replied, if I didn't agree to you, the demon world should have held my funeral by now, right? The male lead calmly responded, your majesty worries too much. There are no such what-ifs in this world. Besides, I think this matter wasn't important from the start, it was a mutual decision. Ji Yao sat naked and asked, sometimes I wonder, are you really only 20 years old? The more I get to know you, the stranger I feel. If you were from the demon world, I'd even suspect you're Jun Bufan reincarnated, purposely trying to trap me. Gu Changde couldn't help but laugh, ha ha ha, I didn't expect your majesty's imagination to be so rich. Then the young man thought to himself, well, trapping you, that's possible. Ji Yao slowly stood up and said, there's nothing I can do, since you're not a good person to begin with. And I've never felt any emotion from you. A person like you, do I really deserve to entrust my heart to? The male lead retorted, why wouldn't you? After saying that, the young man immediately wrapped his arm around Ji Yao's waist. He then quickly pulled her into his arms. Ji Yao panicked and shouted, you're so bold. Gu Changde leaned his lips close to hers and replied, not just bold, I also want to be mischievous. Suddenly, loud shouts from the guards outside were heard, Your Majesty, the list of everyone who had contact with Qingzhou has been compiled. The two instantly froze their movements. After a while, the scene shifted, and Gu Changde quietly returned to the room. As soon as he entered, Jiang Leshan was lazily sitting there, saying, ah, the hero of the demon world is back. Doesn't the queen want to keep you for a night? No wonder you look so down. Gu Changde silently walked over and said, as a maid, shouldn't you hurry to make tea and serve water when your master returns? What are you still doing here? After speaking, the young man gently kicked the chair. As a result, Jiang Leshan was knocked to the floor, and the water cup splashed onto his face, instantly freezing his expression. Ji Yao returned to the room to check the list. She said in confusion, Jun Fan, Song Ziwei, La Tian, Yi Gung, the daughter of the Grand Tutor, and the son of the king are all on the list. Without concrete evidence, investigating carelessly might involve many people. Ji Yao then began to recall the suspicious moments at the banquet. At that time, Gu Changde had walked up to Jun Fan and said, congratulations on taking first place, Jun Bufan. She thought to herself, Gu Changde, did he intentionally call it wrong, or is there a deeper meaning? Then Ji Yao shouted loudly, issue the order. The scene transitions to the Pingluan 5 mansion, where someone says, young master, all the tribes and creatures outside are supporting the Western demon. They have come looking for us. If this operation fails, you must be careful. Jun Bufan angrily slammed his hand on the table and said, the Western demon has indeed spent a lot of effort over the years to win people's hearts. I can't believe so many are willing to support them. But at that time, I bravely defeated the enemy, so I should have earned some merit. I shouldn't be suspected. It's just that Uncle Yi hasn't reported back yet, which means he's severely injured and probably receiving treatment somewhere. Father once said someone would come to deliver something to me. I wonder when that will be. Maybe that's my chance to turn things around. The scene transitions to a street in the city, where someone shouts loudly, here's the snake herb. Tianlang snake herb. 1. Sniff and your soul will be confused, 2 sniffs and you'll faint. It's selling well, selling well. Come and have a look. It turns out that Bai Lianer and her brother are disguised as medicine vendors here selling herbs. Tai Chu whispered, sister Lianer, we've been selling herbs here for 5 days. Can we go in now? Bai Lianer calmly replied, wait. Qing Shan just had an incident, and the Western demon will definitely increase surveillance. We can't raise suspicion right now. Suddenly, cheers come from afar, hey. Look, young Master Changgu is here. It's really young Master Changgu. I had the honor of seeing him at the Tianjiao banquet that day. Quick, make way. Don't block young Master Changji's path. He's the benefactor of our demon realm. Seeing this, Tai Chu anxiously asked, what should we do, Sister Lianer? Why did Changgu suddenly appear here? Bai Lianer pondered for a moment and answered, he's probably here to investigate Ping Wan Wan mansion. It has nothing to do with us. Tai Chu still said fearfully, but he's walking towards us. Bai Lianer transmitted a message and said, what? We must act indifferent. Don't look at him, don't show any expression. Chang Gu hasn't noticed us yet. As long as we control our breathing, plus the jade pendant left by father, he shouldn't recognize us. In the end, Chang Gu really walked up to Bai Lianer and her brother. But suddenly, the young man stopped in front of the stall, scaring Tai Chu so much that he nearly wet his pants. Chang Gu glanced down and scanned them, his gaze full of oppressive force. Thanks to the guidance system, Chang Gu immediately recognized that these two were disguised. Looking at them, it was really laughable. Ha ha. Bai Lianer forced a smile and said, hello, sir. Tai Chu appeared more professional, and the young man immediately pointed to the ginseng in front of him and said, You should look at these herbs, report that these herbs aren't worth much. If you need them, just take them. Chang Gu smiled and asked, take them? We just met, why would I take them? Bai Lianer cleverly smiled and said, who in the demon realm doesn't know that young Master Chang Gu just saved Queen Xiao from danger? You're our great benefactor. These small herbs, how could we dare take your money? The young master sat down and picked up the herbs, saying, all right, I can't just take your herbs for free. Take me to the place where you gather herbs, and I'll pay you 100 times the reward. Bai Lianer responded, young Master Chang Gu, you're too polite. It's just that our family. But before she could finish, Chang Gu stared at her fiercely and said, what? Is it not enough? Seeing the two subordinates nearby looking like butchers, Bai Lianer trembled and replied, if the master wants to go there, we will lead the way. Chang Gu smiled gently and said, then it's settled, but first take me to another place. Transition. After a while, Chang Gu took the two of them to the Ping Wan Wang mansion. Ping Wan Tianwang quickly greeted, young Master Chang Gu has arrived, what an honor. Please come with me. Chang Gu replied, no need to be so formal, Ping Wan Tianwang. People nearby began to discuss, that's young Master Chang Gu. He really has extraordinary bearing. A woman in green said with infatuation, Xiao Fan, I really regret not attending the Tianjiao banquet. How can there be such a perfect person in this world? Just following him, even as a concubine, would be worth it. Before she could finish, Jun Bufan jumped out and said, sister, I advise you to give up early. He definitely doesn't care about you. The woman in green angrily shouted, what a jerk. Is there something wrong with me? You poor thing. Jun Bufan stood there, confused, thinking, damn, why is he here? In the front, Gu Chang'e spoke, I came here today because of Shi Jiao's matter. Tian Wang of Pingwan said. In surprise, oh. Is it about Her Majesty the Queen? Tai Chu transmitted a voice from behind, Sister Lien. I didn't expect we've already entered. We can take this opportunity to hand her the silk pouch. Bai Lian Ni was focused on observing Jun Bufan, while he thought, Shi Jiao, sounds really intimate. Gu Chang'e continued, actually, the mastermind behind this incident, I believe Tian Wang of Pingwan already knows. Tian Dao Xianyang has reappeared, and 6,000 years ago, Xianyang Demon Emperor's son should have died in his tomb, but now there's no trace of him. Tian Wang of Pingwan replied, I also suspect this. Night Demon was once a general under Xianyang Demon Emperor, unless he's a descendant of Xianyang, no one else could command him. Gu Chang'e smiled and said, that's why Shi Jiao especially searched the demon world and finally found the place where Jun Bufan is most likely hiding. Tian Wang of Pingwan asked in surprise, really? Jun Bufan, hearing this, grinned wickedly and thought, hiding place. Gu Chang'e, am I not right in front of you? Can't you see me? What a fool, thinking he's a rooster, but he's just a young rice seedling, huh? Gu Chang'e turned his head and asked. The demon emperor Xianyang had 2 children, a son and a daughter. 6,000 years ago, Jun Bufan faked his death, and his sister. Tian Wang of Pingluan pondered for a while and said, Jun Ruoshi. Though she didn't participate in that great war back then, she later established a forbidden ground in the demon world and never touched the queen. For thousands of years, no one dared approach it. Gu Chang'e said, so, Shi Jiao suspects that Jun Bufan might be hiding in that forbidden ground now. Tian Wang of Pingluan said in confusion, then what does the queen mean? Gu Chang'e replied, this time at the top of Qin Shan, Jun Bufan not only won first place but also performed excellently in rescuing the queen. As a result, Shi Jiao spoke highly of him, thinking he would become the pillar of the demon world in the future. So, it was decided that Tian Wang of Pingluan and Jun Bufan's son would lead the troops to destroy Jun Ruoshi. If they can capture Jun Bufan, that would be best, if not, they can capture Jun Ruoshi. Jun Bufan, hearing this from afar, was shocked. I didn't expect that guy, Gu Chang'e, to be so insidious. Tian Wang of Pingluan believed it, thinking it was true. He gratefully clasped his hands and said, Xiaofan has gained Her Majesty's favor at this age. Thanks to Her Majesty's grace, my son and I will not disappoint Her Majesty. Then he turned and loudly shouted, Xiaofan, what are you still standing there for? Come here and receive your orders. Jun Bufan clenched his fists tightly, gritting his teeth and thinking, trying to use Jun Ruoshi to force me to show myself. All these years, I haven't gone to find my sister to avoid dragging her into this. But now they want us to fight each other. Shi Jiao definitely didn't expect this move. Gu Chang'e, you bastard. One day, I will tear you into 1,000 pieces, and you'll never be able to reincarnate. Bai Lian and I stood there observing everything, her heart also turbulent. After a while, Gu Chang'e walked out and said, these are all the matters Shi Jiao assigned. I won't stay for long. Tian Wang of Pingluan replied, Gu Chang'e, please be careful on your way. Transition to Gu Chang'e's residence. The maid Jiang Leshan was sleeping soundly on the bed, with 2 full grapes resting on the stone table, looking like 2 buns. Suddenly, she heard someone say, Sir, didn't you say you were going to gather herbs? This is. Seeing Gu Chang'e return, Jiang Leshan hurriedly hid in a corner. Gu Chang'e revealed a charming smile and asked, what's wrong? Did I make you uncomfortable by being here? Bai Lian and I nervously replied, Sir, you must be mistaken. We were just afraid that the clothes of the herbal seller would dirty you. Gu Chang'e smiled and said, then change back into ordinary clothes. Who are you disguising yourselves as? Bai Lian and I calmly asked, may I ask what you mean? Gu Chang'e glanced at her and said, it seems you plan to keep playing dumb, Bai Lian and I. Bai Lian and I, caught in her plan, couldn't help but blurt out, please forgive me for my ignorance, I. As she was speaking, she suddenly realized something was wrong, and a powerful aura erupted, shocking her. It turned out that Gu Chang'e released a huge hand and grabbed Tai Chu. The young man shouted, cough. Sister Lian, save me. Gu Chang'e continued, it's fine. After I kill him, you should understand. Bai Lian and I turned and said, let him go, or the things you want will certainly never be obtained. Gu Chang'e replied, that depends on your sincerity. Right now, you remind me of an old acquaintance, truly repulsive. Bai Lianer stood there in deep thought for a long time. Then she began to circulate her energy to break the torn robe, revealing her firm legs. This woman looked elegant, truly worthy of Gu Chang'e's attention. She said expressionlessly, I didn't expect that Gu Chang'e, despite his fame, is just a shallow person. Gu Chang'e said, it looks much better. The method to change your appearance at will can even fool high-level figures. It seems that the legacy of the killing emperor has indeed fallen into your hands. Bai Lianer asked, is this your goal? Gu Chang'e smiled faintly and replied, I can release your junior brother and your father, and also make the demon realm stop chasing him. The condition is. Bai Lianer asked, do you want that brocade pouch? Gu Chang'e replied, actually, I'm more interested in you. I have to admit, this scene really brightens your eyes, huh? Gu Chang'e said, compared to that brocade pouch, I'm more interested in Miss Bai Lian. Oh, don't misunderstand, I just want to say that, compared to the brocade pouch, I prefer you and the forces behind Spring Breeze and the Jade Tower to serve me. Bai Lianer asked, serve you? I'm afraid we won't have a good outcome, and it's really hard to convince everyone to trust someone like you. Gu Chang'e replied, I know you're not afraid of death, but your father's life, the power behind you, and your junior brother's fate are all under my control. Miss Bai Lian, who do you think you can trust now? Of course, if you don't care about me at all, then I won't lose anything. After speaking, Gu Chang'e tightened his grip on the iron hoe, causing him to scream in pain. Then Bai Lianer said, all right, I can agree to you. Gu Chang'e smiled and said, Miss Bai Lian is indeed smart. Talking to smart people is really easy. Then, Gu Chang'e turned around and shouted, Luo Chen, give that wine to Miss Bai Lian. Luo Chen stood up angrily behind the table and shouted, do you really think I'm your maid? Bai Lianer was quite surprised, thinking, she's the princess of the heavenly clan, Jiang Luo Chen, how did she become Gu Chang'e's maid? Gu Chang'e didn't care about Luo Chen at all and said, all right, now you can hand over the brocade pouch to me. Bai Lianer smiled and replied, weren't you just acting like you weren't interested in the brocade pouch? After hearing these words, Gu Chang'e smiled brightly, hiding his slightly awkward mood. He continued, ha ha ha. Everything has changed. Now we are people working together. What reason do you have not to hand it over to me? Bai Lianer replied, if I give it to you, I will have no more trump cards. What if you turn hostile and kill us immediately? Gu Chang'e laughed heartily, ha ha ha. Trump cards? From the moment you faced me, you had no trump cards left. If I want to kill you, no one or anything can protect you. But don't worry, because Miss Bai Lian knows the current situation, so I won't deceive you. After saying this, Gu Chang'e let go of the iron hoe. Bai Lianer was shocked, thinking, this Gu Chang'e is really dictatorial and cunning. Then she replied, so when can you release my father? Gu Chang'e smiled and replied, no need to rush. First, you have to do something for me. Bai Lianer thought, he's really not simple, he's an old fox. Then she asked, what is it? Gu Chang'e answered. I want you to use any method to find evidence that Jun Fan is plotting to assassinate Shi Jiao. Bai Lianer was very surprised after hearing this, knowing that everything had been seen through by Gu Chang'e. The scene shifted to Queen Shi Jiao's side, where a maid came to report, Your Majesty, King Pingchuan has led his army to conquer Jun Ruoshi. I heard this was arranged by the young master Chang'e in your name. Shi Jiao said, it doesn't matter, I know. However, she was confused, thinking, what is he really plotting? Jun Ruoshi's cultivation is unfathomable, and for the past 6,000 years, she and I have never interfered with each other. Then she asked, by the way, Jun Fan went to battle with his father, right? The maid replied, yes, Jun Fan was personally selected by young master Chang'e. Shi Jiao thought for a moment, indeed, Gu Chang'e seems to always deliberately or unintentionally remind me. Could Jun Fan really be Jun Bufan? At first, I thought he was here to help me, but thinking carefully, who controls the demon realm has nothing to do with him. His purpose for coming to the demon realm must be something else. The scene shifts to Gu Chang'e. He had already obtained the brocade bag. He smiled very kindly and gently, saying, this brocade bag looks ordinary, but it hides many terrifying restrictions. Could it be specially prepared for Jun Bufan? No one else can open this except him. Unfortunately, I'm not an ordinary person, I am a superhuman. After saying that, Gu Chang'e took out a porcelain bottle and released the aura inside. Gu Chang'e thought to himself, let's see if your restrictions can withstand my treasure bottle Dao. Then the aura rushed toward the brocade bag. Sure enough, the restrictions outside the brocade bag were broken. Other auras instantly poured out from inside. Gu Changa's expression became extremely shocked. Then, boom boom boom, a series of booming sounds rang out, shaking the entire hall. A mist appeared around, seemingly containing messages from ancient times. Gu Changa was surprised and thought, without the help of treasure bottle Tao, this disturbance. Is it the origin of the world, or is it undergoing transformation? Striving to evolve into a more advanced world. Is this the real reason for the disappearance of the 6 emperors? Did they want to break through the immortal realm during the evolution of the demon realm? During the normal evolution of the demon realm, there would definitely be aura leaks, but the major sects in the upper realms never noticed. The 6 emperors must have covered up this secret together. Logically, it is impossible for the demon realm to give birth to 6 Tao achievers, which itself is unreasonable. Perhaps this plan has been going on for a long time, a world-shaking game, with the demon realm as the chessboard and all living beings as the pieces. And Jun Bufan and Shi Jiao are merely 2 pieces in their hands, meant to deceive others. It's perfect to use the chaos of the demon realm for 6,000 years to cover up the truth behind the disappearance of the 6 emperors, shifting all the blame onto Shi Jiao. Outsiders might think she got lucky, but in fact, she's the one who's unlucky. Suddenly, a giant figure appeared inside the brocade bag. He angrily said, "Humph, kid. Who are you? Where is my son, Jun Bufan? Speak quickly, or if you dare deceive me." Gu Changa smiled brightly and said, "What's so surprising about A of the Demon Emperor?" After saying that, he brought the porcelain bottle closer to the Demon Emperor, terrifying him. Then came another round of booming explosions. Inside, Gu Changa was enjoying the taste of the dilemma of the Demon Emperor, the origin of the 6 emperors, and the origin of the demon realm's evolution. Truly tempting. But Demon Emperor Xianyang really has a cruel heart. Even calculating his own child, leaving this to tell Jun Bufan that it was all a misunderstanding. Shi Jiao killed him 6,000 years ago, but in reality, it was because the 6 emperors secretly manipulated him and persuaded him to let go of his hatred. Then they had Jun Bufan use the key given to him by Demon Emperor Xianyang to find his residence. He said he left the key to Jun Bufan, but perhaps only Jun Bufan could get it. I don't have the origin of the world, so I'll temporarily use the MANHWA magic chi as a substitute. The scene shifts outside. After a while, Gu Changa came out holding the brocade bag and said, "This is everything I wanted to give you, then give this brocade bag to Jun Bufan." Bai Lian and I asked, "What's inside?" Gu Changa replied in surprise, "I don't know. I can't even open it." "Do you need me to deceive you, Miss Lian and I? We're in the same boat now." Bai Lian and I helplessly said, "Humph, you really." After that, she left. Luo Chen ran over to report, "Gu Changa, the tea is ready." Gu Changa turned around and said, "I suddenly don't want to drink it anymore. I'll go find someone who loves to laugh to drink it with me." The scene shifts to the Ping Luan Wang mansion. Inside, a woman in green asked, "How does young Master Changa feel?" Gu Changa replied, "I didn't expect to see Miss Jun Jiao's tea ceremony skills when I came to the demon realm. It's not a wasted trip." Jun Jiao smiled widely, excitedly saying, "Really? If young Master Changa likes it, I will make tea for you every day. If you have time, you can come here." Gu Changa squinted and smiled, saying, "Of course, I like it." However, the young man thought to himself, from Jun Jiao's luck, perhaps Jun Fan must really care about his sister, Jun Jiao. And Jun Jiao, believing it to be true, happily thought, "Oh my god, the perfect young Master Changa is actually sitting in front of me discussing tea making. I have a chance. Ah ha ha." Gu Changa, however, was thinking sinisterly to himself, "How should I use this move, the water chess?" The scene shifted to Queen Shi Jiao's room. A maid spoke, "Your Majesty, the people that needed to be dealt with have been taken care of." Shi Jiao asked, "What has young Master Changa been doing these days?" The maid replied. Replying to your majesty, young Master Chang'e has frequently been visiting the Pingluan Wang residence. Shi Jiao said in surprise, Pingluan Wang residence. Didn't King Pingluan leave a few days ago? What is he doing there? The maid seemed to hesitate a moment before answering. He went to find the second miss of the king, Miss Jun Jiao. Your Majesty. May I ask, is young Master Chang'e on your side? Another maid also interrupted, yes, has he fallen in love with Jun Jiao? Before she could finish, a familiar hand rested on her shoulder. It was none other than the young Gu Chang'e, with his signature wicked smile on his face. Gu Chang'e grinned brightly and said, you gossip. Too much, I just went to make tea. Who says that recently, your majesty is always avoiding me? Shi Jiao immediately ordered, you may leave. She then turned to Gu Chang'e and said, I have been very busy lately. Gu Chang'e walked over and said, your majesty has been very busy, I understand. If you won't come to see me, I'll have to come to see you. The young man then put his arm around Shi Jiao's shoulder, as if performing in a play, and loudly said, let me see the commander of Yao City. Abusing his power, oppressing the people, embezzling 90,000 gold, his whole family should be executed. I hate corruption the most. Shi Jiao turned her head and asked, do you have something to say? Gu Chang'e smiled and answered, of course, I'm here to help you solve your troubles. Shi Jiao flustered and said, troubles? Are you sure Jun Fan is really Jun Bufan? Gu Chang'e, seeing Shi Jiao not avoid him, boldly walked forward and answered, what does it matter if I'm sure? You're the queen, not everything can be asked of me, you must think for yourself. Shi Jiao blushed and shyly asked. If I knew, would I still ask you? What did you say that day? After deceiving my body, you just abandoned me? Gu Chang'e replied, it was a mutual decision, how could that be called deception? Jun Fan's matter will soon have a conclusion, and when the time comes, you'll decide what to do. The two then began their 500-round battle, he with a hammer, she riding a horse. In the distance, a group of people were also riding horses, but they were not on Yen Laoma horses, rather, they were riding horses for battle. This was the army led by King Pingluan, heading to capture the daughter of the Xianyang demon emperor, Jun Ruoshi. King Pingluan shouted, ahead is a forbidden area of life and death, everyone stay in place, do not move. Jun Bufan spoke, Father, are we really going to clear this place? King Pingluan replied, of course, Her Majesty the Queen gave the order, and Jun Bufan is likely hiding here. If we catch him, the Jun family will rise to new heights. Jun Bufan pondered, 6,000 years ago, my sister entered the quasi-supreme realm. Now, 6,000 years have passed, and her strength can definitely protect herself. I'll go see her first. After saying this, the young man stepped on the gas and rushed in, shouting, Father, I'll scout ahead to avoid the army being ambushed. King Pingluan asked, do you need to bring a team of soldiers? Jun Bufan replied, no, just one person is enough. The scene changed. A moment later, the young man had ventured deep inside, and it was extremely cold here, seemingly devoid of life. Jun Bufan looked around, muttering to himself, has she been living in a place like this all these years? Suddenly, a shining sword flew toward him from behind. With his high martial skill, Jun Bufan easily deflected the sword, then shouted, who is it? It was the long-legged beauty, Bai Lianer. She spoke, Jun Bufan, 6,000 years have passed, you don't seem to have changed much. Jun Bufan was shocked and exclaimed, you are Lianer. Bai Lianer had a blank expression and did not answer. Wei Bufan excitedly ran over and said, that's right, no mistake. Your aura is unmistakable, it's really you. Long time no see. How did you end up here? How did you know my identity? He wanted to reach out to embrace Lian Qian, but she pushed his hand away and said, how did I find you? You should ask yourself that. By daring and so obviously assassinating Shi Jiao, do you really think everyone is as foolish as her? Even if you turn to ashes, I can still recognize you, after all, because of what you did to me. Wei Bufan couldn't argue and just softly said, Lian Qian, I am sorry for what happened in the past, but after so many years, it should. Bye. Lian Qian interrupted him, saying, forget it, we won't talk about other things today. I came to find you hoping you could help save my father. Wei Bufan was surprised and said, Uncle Bai Kuan. He fell into Gu Chang's hands. Unless I can overthrow Shi Jiao's rule and become the new ruler of the demon world, even if the heavenly realm sends help, I'd really like to assist, but I am powerless. Lian Qian, you have to trust me. I also wish I could tear Gu Chang'e into pieces. Bai Lian Qian thought for a moment and said, Wei Bufan, your father was loyal to mine, yet now he's in such a predicament. She then said, don't be quick to refuse. Right now, although you're no match for Gu Chang'e, that doesn't mean you won't be in the future. Your father once entrusted my father to pass this on to you when the time came. Later, when my father was captured, this item was handed to me. Wei Bufan thought joyfully, so this is what my father wanted to give me. With this, I can turn the tide. Then he excitedly said, thank you, Lian Qian, for taking such a huge risk to bring this to me. Lian Qian, don't worry, your matters are my matters, I will never let Uncle Bai Kuan fall into danger. But suddenly, Bai Lian Qian withdrew her hand. Wei Bufan, confused, asked, Lian Qian, what do you mean? Bai Lian Qian replied, I want you to swear by your heart, to rescue my father from Gu Chang'e, or I won't give you this pouch. Wei Bufan thought in surprise, after all these years, it's understandable that she doesn't trust me. And now, her aura has probably already reached the quasi-supreme realm, relying on brute force is not enough. Wei Bufan then raised his hand and said loudly, Lian Qian, don't worry, I will swear. But he thought to himself, no matter what, I'll get the item first. After a round of persuasion, Bai Lian Qian finally agreed to hand over the pouch. Wei Bufan then asked, what plans do you have now? Bai Lian Qian replied, no plans, just waiting for you to rescue my father. Wei Bufan smiled and replied, revenge and annihilate the demons, unify the demon world, go to the upper realms and rescue Uncle Bai Kuan, but just by myself, it's probably a long road. Lian Qian, can you let go of all past grievances and stay by my side? Trust me, this time I won't disappoint you. Bai Lian Qian thought, everyone knows Gu Chang'e recruits people through coercion and temptation, I don't know whether to call him confident or. Suddenly, a voice came, Bufan. Bufan, is that you? Wei Bufan exclaimed in surprise, Sister Ruashi. That's Sister Ruashi's voice. Then, the two flew towards the source of the voice. In mid-air, the cry of Bufan echoed continuously. After a while, the two arrived at a well, surrounded by intense energy, and the voice spoke again, Bufan, you've finally come. Sister has been waiting for you for 6,000 years. Wei Bufan anxiously shouted, Sister Ruashi. Are you in this well? Wei Ruashi shouted loudly, stop. Don't come near. With your current cultivation, you can't resist it. Wei Bufan said nervously, this well. Sister, Shi Jiao's army is already prepared. Wei Ruashi replied, I know what you're going to say. But don't worry, unless it's someone I want to. See, no one can find me here. When I made the agreement with Shi Jiao, it was just to delay her. I know. You have many questions, but right now, it's hard to explain. There's not much I need to tell you, just know that only by using the key to open the dead door can you find Father and directly ask him. Wei Bufan asked, a key? What is that? Where is the dead door you're talking about? Jun Ruashi said, I think your father must have arranged for someone to give you the key. As for the death door, I don't know where it is. Only the one holding the key can find it, and it should have been given to you. Jun Bufan pondered, could it be the brocade pouch? Bai Lianer thought for a moment, the 6 emperors disappeared, and now it seems there is more to the story. In other words, my father had to live in exile for many years, and even my mother died because of the 6 emperors' plan. Yet my father foolishly treated the Xianyang demon emperor as a brother, helping him guard the brocade pouch for over 6,000 years, fleeing and being hunted for years. It's truly ironic. Jun Bufan continued, my father once said the death door leads to the life door. Could the ancient well you are in now be the life door? Jun Ruashi replied, yes. I am now responsible for guarding the life door, and until it is opened, I cannot leave here even a step. I don't have much time left. You need to find where my father is as soon as possible. He must have something very important to entrust to you. At that moment, Jun Bufan turned around and said, Liener, I need to go back and take care of something. Please wait for me here. After saying that, the young man pressed the gas pedal and sped away. Bai Liener thought, the jade pendant left by my father is truly useful. Even Jun Ruashi didn't notice I had already used the shadow stone. Before the army returns, I'll let the clone take this to meet Gu Changa. The scene shifts. In the Great Hall, the King of Peace had returned. He spoke, Your Majesty, I led the army to investigate the life forbidden zone for a long time but still couldn't find any trace of Jun Bufan and Jun Ruashi. The news must have been leaked, causing them to escape early. Please forgive me, Your Majesty. Shi Jiao asked, where is Jun Bufan? Why hasn't he returned to receive orders? The king replied, Your Majesty. We didn't find any clues in the life forbidden zone, so we continued searching. I returned to report to you. Suddenly, Shi Jiao shouted angrily, liar. Guards, arrest the King of Peace. He has conspired with the remnants of the 5 emperors. The entire family will be imprisoned and await trial. The people present were confused and discussed, what? How is this possible? The king was also shocked and stammered, Your Majesty, how could you say this? The Grand Tutor pressed his palms together and spoke, Your Majesty, could this be a misunderstanding? How could the King of Peace conspire with the remnants of the 5 emperors? Isn't he also Your Majesty's trusted aide? What exactly is going on? Shi Jiao threw the shadow stone onto the floor and loudly said, the evidence is irrefutable. You all can see for yourselves. Jun Bufan, the son of the King of Peace. The king exclaimed in surprise, this is the shadow stone. Then, a recording of a conversation between Jun Bufan and Jun Ruashi was played for everyone to see. The king said in shock, it's Jun Bufan. This is impossible. People began to discuss, no wonder Jun Ruashi disappeared in the life forbidden zone. It seems Jun Bufan informed her. This Jun Bufan really hid deep. The king hurriedly said, Your Majesty, I didn't know about this. Shi Jiao shouted loudly, arrest him. This matter must not be spread outside. Anyone who disobeys will be treated as a conspirator and rebel. The scene shifts to Gu Changa's room. He spoke, so after you said goodbye to Jun Bufan and Jun Ruashi, did you go to find the death door? Bai Liena replied, if you don't believe it, then there's nothing I can do. Gu Changa smiled and replied, Miss Liena, you're really humorous. How could I not believe you? But Jun Bufan will eventually find out that you betrayed him. I've already told Shi Jiao to make sure that no ministers leak this matter. It should hide the truth for a while longer. Bai Liena replied. Should I thank you for thinking of me? Gu Changa replied, no need to thank me, Miss Liena. At that moment, Shi Jiao entered and said, I've followed your orders and sent the King of Peace and his family to the prison. Gu Changa extended his hand and said, this is Miss Liena. Shi Jiao glanced around and said, no need to introduce, I'm more familiar with you than you think. Humph. How did you make her work for you? They both said at the same time. Bai Liena shouted, of course it's because this guy threatened me with my father's life, while Gu Changa said, of course it's because Miss Liena is smart and rational, and doesn't want to help the evil. It felt a bit awkward. Gu Changa smiled brightly and said, Miss Liena is really straightforward. Bai Liena said, otherwise, do you think I would be kind enough to help you? Shi Jiao replied unhappily, do you think this queen needs your kindness? Gu Changa, sitting and listening, could feel that war was about to break out. In the prison, the people of the royal family were discussing, "Prince, tell me this isn't true. How could Xiao Fan be?" "Yes, father, how could this happen?" "Prince, save us, father, how did Xiao Fan become Jun Bufan?" Xiao Fan admired the empress, how could he? Xiao Fan hit it too well. The heavenly king helplessly said, "Father has already seen the Luoying stone, it's true. Unfortunately, our Jun family's glory will never exist again, and my loyalty to His Majesty has now become a joke." Jun Jiao said in confusion, "In just one day, how did things suddenly turn out like this?" "It's over, the Bingluan prince's mansion is finished." Suddenly, Gu Liu stepped forward and said, "Don't worry, the heavenly king's loyalty is as bright as the sun and moon." The heavenly king turned his head and said, "Young Master Chang'e, why did you come here personally?" Gu Chang'e replied, "I just found out the truth from Shi Jiao, so I came to visit." Sigh. "I've also seen the Luoying stone. Don't be too sad, from what I know, Jun Bufan must have taken over Jun Jiao's body." A few people from the royal family exclaimed in fear, "What? Xiao Fan really is young Master Chang'e? We really didn't know about this." "Yes. Young Master Chang'e, please help us." The eel, looking very loyal, opened his mouth and said, "Everyone, don't panic. I have some connection with Miss Jun Jiao, and I'm here to help. Right now, Shi Jiao is very angry, and I can't persuade her. But I'll try to give you a chance to atone for your sins. However, this matter will definitely be dangerous. I don't know if Miss Jun Jiao is willing." Everyone turned to look at Jun Jiao, their eyes full of confusion. Suddenly, Jun Jiao kneeled and said loudly, "As long as I can save my family from this crisis and avenge my brother, I, Jun Jiao, will never back down." Gu Chang'e replied, "Miss Jun Jiao, why do you have to go this far?" Scene change. A moment later, outside the prison, Gu Chang'e sighed and said, "Sigh, I'm not directly helping you clear your sins, but instead sending you to take risks. Doesn't this make me feel guilty? Actually, I don't want you to go. But Jun Bufan is definitely plotting to disrupt the demon realm. Right now, only you can stop all of this. I'm worried for your safety, so this Jade token contains my full power strike. If you encounter danger, it will ensure that Miss Jun Jiao won't need to worry about her life." Jun Jiao was touched and said, "Young Master Chang'e's kindness, Jun Jiao doesn't know how to repay. If Jun Jiao can return safely, Jun Jiao is willing." Seeing the lucky number 333 on Jun Jiao's head, Gu Chang'e secretly cursed, "Damn, at least add a 0. Then he reminded, "Miss Jun Jiao, remember, don't let Jun Bufan confuse your mind, he is no longer your brother. Time is tight, you should hurry." Watching Jun Jiao's back as she left, Shi Jiao spoke, "Are you planning to use Jun Jiao to find Jun Bufan?" Gu Chang'e replied, "She alone can't do it. Under threat, Jun Bufan won't care about the life and death of the Jun family." Shi Jiao asked in surprise, "Then what's your purpose in doing this?" Gu Chang'e smiled meaningfully and said, "Fishing." After saying that, he turned and left, leaving Shi Jiao still puzzled and confused. The scene shifts to the Grand Tutor's residence, and Yu Wei said in surprise, "What is what father said true?" The Grand Tutor sighed and replied, "The flowing shadow stone cannot be forged. His Majesty has ordered that this matter must not be leaked. When Jun Fan returns, we will arrest his father." Yu Wei thought to herself, Jun Fan is Jun Bufan. That means the assassination at the top of Sacred Mountain a few days ago was planned by Jun Fan, and now the Tianwang family is also implicated because of him. He even sent a letter inviting me to help him decipher the runes in the ancient ruins. Does he still not know his current situation? No, I must ask him personally. I don't believe Jun Fan is a truly wicked person. She then spoke, "Father, I won't tell anyone about this, but I must go out for a while." The Grand Tutor sighed and replied, "Yu Wei, you've grown up. Many things I say, I know you won't listen. I understand you have a connection With Jun Fan, but you must know, this matter is very important. I believe Her Majesty the Queen is merely a pawn in this. The one who truly wants to deal with Jun Bufan is probably Gu Changa. Once you're involved in this whirlpool, it's easy to be crushed to pieces. The scene shifts to the forbidden zone of life. Jun Bufan found a secluded place and opened the pouch Bai Lianer had given him. Immediately, some vague energy was released, but it contained a purple aura. The image of the Xian Yang Demon Emperor appeared. He spoke, "My son, Bufan." Jun Bufan exclaimed in joy, "Is it Father's Dharma body? I'm saved. This powerful aura is truly from Father." After a while, suddenly, a thunderous sound erupted from the area, followed by Jun Bufan's angry shout. He clenched his fists and said in extreme anger, a misunderstanding? Then what have I done all these years? What about my hatred? Is it a joke? The greater good of the demon realm, the collision with the immortal Tao. Hai Jiao and I are merely pawns. Father, you are truly cruel. I must become stronger. I don't want to be a pawn anymore. I want to be the player. The Death Gate. I must find the Death Gate. The scene shifts to the city. Yue Wei hurriedly rode the white Qilin beast out of the city. People in the city saw and started discussing, is that the Grand Tutor's daughter? Why is she leaving the city in such a hurry? Just as she was about to depart, she heard someone calling, Xiao. Xiao Wei. Yue Wei turned in surprise, her face showing astonishment, Hai Jiao's sister. The scene shifts. After a moment, the two stopped to talk. Hai Jiao spoke, I left the capital to find a kind of flower tea. On my way back, I heard that Father and everyone were arrested. Yue Wei, do you know what happened? Yue Wei thought for a moment and replied, it seems sister still doesn't know the situation. Then she answered, the full situation cannot be explained in just a couple of sentences. Hai Jiao asked, what are you planning to do now? Yue Wei hesitated and thought, forget it, let her ask Jun Fan herself. She then took Hai Jiao's hand and said, come with me. Hai Jiao, confused, asked, Yue Wei, do you know where Jun Fan is? Yue Wei replied, Jun Fan hasn't been captured yet. Once we find him, everything will be clear. So, the two of them rode off to find Jun Bufan. At this moment, Hai Jiao was still thinking about that man. Sitting in Yue Wei's arms, she thought, if only I could be embraced by Changa like that. Then, the two rode off at full speed, with the figure of an eel silently following them in the distance. Gu Changa chuckled softly, I've always said that with such luck, how could Song Yue Wei be unrelated to this matter? I just don't know what role she'll play. This is truly something to look forward to. I should be leaving too. After speaking, the young man opened the barrier and slowly disappeared, as if a snake entering a hole. The scene shifts to the forbidden zone of life, where Jun Bufan said, this is the place where the death flowers bloom, and even the laws of heaven and earth are filled with the aura of death. The Death Gate should be here. Bai Lianer said, there was once a semi-supreme god who fell here and turned into a pile of bones. Jun Bufan smiled and said, don't worry, I've already contacted Yue Wei, she has studied this area extensively. Bai Lianer asked, where is the key? Didn't Sister Ruoshi say we need a key to enter the Death Gate? Jun Bufan replied, the key should be. But suddenly he seemed to realize something, feeling that something was wrong. He stopped and said nothing. Bai Lianer asked, what's wrong? Jun Bufan's face turned angry as he turned around and shouted, you betrayed me. It turns out it was the command symbol. That sent the message, young master, the entire Jun Lu family has been imprisoned for some unknown reason. Bai Lianer smiled and said, I was never your person, so how could I betray you? Jun Bufan angrily pointed at her face and shouted, I trusted you so much, and this is how you treat me. Bai Lianer, you really disappoint me. Did Shi Jiao make you do this? Bai Lianer just smiled and then said, you're still the same, stubborn and arrogant. Even now, you still can't guess who made you betray me? How pitiful. Jun Bufan angrily shouted, "Is it Gu Chang'e? So you're his person?" Bai Lianer answered, "Yes. Gu Chang'e is hypocritical and cruel, but he is strong and smart. As for you, hypocritical and arrogant yet foolish. Isn't it obvious who to choose? Don't worry, I didn't plan to fight you, so stop with your dirty tricks. Gu Chang'e will handle you. Just wait and enjoy." After saying that, she smiled sweetly and slowly disappeared. Jun Bufan gritted his teeth in anger and said, "Gu Chang'e. Gu Chang'e. It's always Gu Chang'e. Damn it. I won't let any of you go." "Humph, calm down, stay calm, don't lose control. If Bai Lianer is Gu Chang'e's person, then the brocade pouch she gave me must have a scheme. Fortunately, only I can open it, but even so, if there are any traces left, they'll find me. It's over. Bai Lianer knows where sister is. Damn it." Not far away, Gu Chang'e had already reached the forbidden zone of life. Gu Chang'e said, "This area of the forbidden zone of life might affect the fate of the demon realm. It looks like there is indeed something hidden here." Jiang Lushan said, "I've already used the Tai Su clan's spells to investigate. There are many restrictions here, and if we're not careful, we might get trapped." "What do you plan to do?" Gu Chang'e replied, "I plan to throw you in to test if the formations inside are dangerous." Lushan angrily shouted, "Gu Chang'e, your jokes are not funny at all." Suddenly, Gu Chang'e turned around and, with a mysterious smile, asked, "Are you arguing?" Suddenly, Bai Lianer walked out from the space and said, "This is all thanks to your blessing." Gu Chang'e said, "Since you're back, lead the way." Lushan turned and said, "Let your subordinates wait here for our news." Bai Lianer said, "Let's go." She then led the two of them into the interior of the forbidden zone of life. Lushan asked, "Is the death gate here? Are you sure it's here?" "There's nothing here, and I can't even feel the fluctuations of the runes." Bai Lianer replied, "Jun Ruashi said she has a way to remain undetected, maybe she already knows someone is approaching." Gu Chang'e drew his weapon and said, "Can they detect us?" "Well, that's simple." The young man stood straight and shouted loudly, "I've come from afar, why doesn't Miss Ruashi come out to meet me?" Lushan exclaimed in surprise, "Damn, is that Imperial Chi?" Bai Lianer thought, as expected, the night demon has left, it's so cold I'm shivering. Hidden in the darkness, Jun Ruashi exclaimed in shock, "Is that the Xianyang heavenly sword? How did it end up in your hands? What did you do to my brother?" Gu Chang'e shouted excitedly, "I found it." After speaking, Gu Chang'e swung his sword, and the surrounding space seemed to tear apart. Jun Ruashi asked in panic, "Is this the power of reincarnation?" Lushan, seeing this, thought, following Gu Chang'e, although not too happy, "It seems like I can see many interesting things." Gu Chang'e said, "Let's go." Bai Lianer said, "The aura coming from that well is very strong, Jun Ruashi must be inside." Gu Chang'e swung his sword again. But just before the sword reached the well's edge, it was blocked. Gu Chang'e said, "Humph, it's even stronger than the Imperial realm." Jun Ruashi angrily said, "The Xianyang heavenly sword doesn't belong to you, what did you do to my brother?" She then swung countless chains towards Gu Chang'e, who met them head-on, while fighting and saying, "Come, come, don't rush, I'll tell you everything in a moment." After speaking, Gu Chang'e swung a few basic sword moves and easily cut through the chains. Then, Gu Chang'e jumped directly into the well. Lushan screamed in terror, he went in. Bai Lianer said, "It's fine, with his strength, there's nothing to worry about." Pang Lushan angrily turned around and shouted, "Who cares about him, I hope he dies before it's too late." Bai Lianer coldly asked, "Why are you so worked up? Were you forced?" Inside the well, sure enough, Gu Chang'e acted swiftly. As he struck the girl, he sensed the presence of a woman. Instantly, Gu Chang'e found Jun Ruashi, placing his sword at her neck. Gu Chang'e smirked, "Miss Ruashi is truly a beauty. I'll give you a chance, tell me everything you know." Jun Ruashi stubbornly replied, I know nothing. If you want to kill me, then do it." Gu Changa squinted slightly and said, fine. Then, with a lightning-fast strike, blood splattered everywhere. Outside, Pang Lushan shouted, what is happening inside? Bai Lianer calmly replied, Jun Ruoshi's strength should be close to the semi-ultimate realm. If we want to defeat her, it will take some effort. But suddenly, a look of panic appeared on her face as she thought, her aura has vanished. Just as she thought that, she saw Gu Changa climbing out of the hole. Bai Lianer hurriedly asked, did you kill her? Both of them noticed the sword in Gu Changa's hand, with fresh blood still on it. Pang Lushan calmly said, don't be surprised. Even the most beautiful woman wouldn't receive mercy from him. Then what's inside the well? Gu Changa replied indifferently, a mysterious portal. Then, Gu Changa walked over gently and grabbed the corner of Pang Lushan's clothes. He then gently wiped the blood off the sword with the corner of his clothes. This action left Lushan stunned, his eyes nearly popping out. Gu Changa continued, don't ask too many questions. When the time comes, I'll naturally tell you. Lushan angrily shouted, damn. You bastard. Gu Changa chuckled and said, let's go, we're leaving. Jun Jiao has already seen Jun Bufan. The young man glanced at the well, thinking, it's not that Jun Ruoshi can't leave this well, but when she does, the absence of suppression will cause disturbances. Perhaps the 6 emperors are worried it might attract outsiders or even draw the attention of the Dao lineage from the higher realms. Haha, what a coincidence. I don't want the higher realms to notice either. Such a vibrant aura. I might not need to devour and refine the innate divine beings after all. Perhaps I can reach the supreme realm now. Switching to another place, the two were riding horses at full speed. Jun Jiao spoke, Xiao Wei, are you sure Xiao Fan has arrived here? This place is strange, even your dragon isn't at ease. Young Wei replied, I heard he discovered a ruin and needs my help. The location should be correct. Jun Jiao asked, how did Xiao Fan suddenly end up so far away? Young Wei replied, you'll have to ask him when you see him. Jun Jiao thought anxiously, Xiao Fan is indeed plotting something. We'll probe him later. Suddenly, from a distance, a shout from Jun Bufan came, Sister Yue. Jun Jiao rushed over and asked, Xiao Fan, how did you end up here? Jun Bufan calmly replied, I heard a ruin is about to appear, but with limited power, I invited Yue to come. Sister, why are you here too? Sister. Jun Jiao answered, when I went back after picking tea, I found that father and everyone else were imprisoned by his Majesty. I didn't know what to do, but then I ran into Yue. Xiao Fan, what should we do now? Jun Bufan comforted her, sister, don't worry. This time, it might be because father didn't handle things well, which upset the queen. Jun Jiao muttered, then let's hurry back and find a way to rescue them. We shouldn't worry about this ruin anymore, okay? Jun Bufan chuckled and replied, don't worry, after a while, the queen's anger will subside, and she should release father. After all, father has contributed a lot. Now that we're here, it'd be a shame not to check out this ruin. People say there's a mysterious gate here leading to the demon realm, with unparalleled opportunities. We can't delay any longer. Let's go. Jun Jiao remained silent after hearing that, and Young Wei thought, still not telling the truth. Then the 3 of them sped up and disappeared in an instant. After a while, Mo Changa and the others caught up. Mo Changa said, it seems Jun Bufan and the others really found the correct path. Jiang Lichen asked, Mo Changa, how did you manage to get Jun Jiao to obey? Even willing to do such things? King Il just smiled slyly and answered, does it really matter? Lichen laughed and said, oh, I guess you must have threatened their family. Am I right, Miss Bai? Bai Liena replied, Princess Lichen, your words are reckless, aren't you afraid of being killed? Lichen shouted, what am I afraid of? But when she saw the monstrous expression on Mo Changa's face, she quickly said, forget it, I won't say more. Bai Liena continued, it seems they've found the depths of the Forbidden Land. I'll go take a look. After saying that, she slowly disappeared. Mo Changa replied, thank you, Liener. We'll go later. Switching to Jun Bufan's side. He walked and said, deep here should be the gate. I can already feel its aura. But this red mist is filled with intense corrosiveness, as if it's from the 9 hells. Prolonged exposure would definitely bring disaster. Then he turned to ask, Xiao Wei, do you have any solution? Yu Wei immediately took out a magic artifact and began to activate it. While doing so, she secretly thought, Jun Bufan. Once the truth is revealed, helping you this time will also end the relationship between us. After thinking that, she shot the magic artifact forward. Wherever the artifact went, the red, dark aura was dispersed, and a wide path appeared before them. Jun Bufan couldn't help but say, Xiao Wei, great, as expected of you. The 3 of them then flew straight to a huge mysterious gate, and green aura kept emitting from within. After landing, Jun Bufan said, it's really here. Yu Wei said in confusion, what? What is this? The aura is truly terrifying. Jun Jiao also asked in surprise, is this the opportunity you were looking for? Jun Bufan excitedly said, look, that's right. Behind this gate lies the secret of the demon realm from 6,000 years ago. Jun Jiao was shocked after hearing that because she knew that the truth about her brother's soul being taken over was becoming more and more accurate. Yu Wei walked forward and asked, Jun Bufan, do you have a way to get inside? Jun Bufan smiled confidently and said, oh, of course. Then he thought for a moment, I thought it was a spice, but I didn't expect that the 6 stones my father gave me back then were actually the key. Suddenly, a sword flew from somewhere, accompanied by a loud shout, then handed over. Jun Bufan was very surprised, and he quickly chanted a spell to summon a magic artifact. He then threw it up to block the sword. A loud boom echoed, and the ground around them trembled as a powerful shockwave spread. It became clear that it was the cold, beautiful woman by Liener, who was charging towards them angrily. Jun Bufan thought in fear, by Liener. How did she find me? My pouch had clearly been checked. Yu Wei shouted, is she a near supreme being? Bai Liener, with a determined expression, shouted as she charged down, if you don't hand over the key today, you'll definitely die. As soon as she finished speaking, she split into 5 figures, each holding a sword and attacking in different directions. But Jun Bufan wasn't easy to deal with. He immediately released his magic artifact to defend. The power of the fan book acted like a shield, constantly surrounding Jun Bufan, and any sword energy from Bai Liener that touched it was deflected. Bai Liener angrily said, you think this can protect you for long? Jun Bufan replied, well, as long as I can enter this gate, this time is enough. Bai Liener glanced at the 2 people beside them and said, it seems you're not planning to care about their lives. Yu Wei felt the danger and immediately stood in front of Jun Jiao, her face full of fear. Jun Bufan shouted, you dare. If you touch a single hair on them, even if you hide to the ends of the earth, I will kill you. Bai Liener replied, are you planning to abandon them? You're truly heartless, but don't worry, once you enter, I'll give them a quick end. Jun Bufan shouted even more angrily, you dare threaten me? Bai Liener, you weren't like this before. If Uncle Bai Kun knew you were helping the bad guys now, what would he think? Bai Liener shouted in fury, shut up. My father believed your father's lies, and that's why my mother died early. I almost fell for your provocation. But the person who is going to deal with you has already arrived. As soon as the words were spoken, a snake's mouth appeared in the air, signaling that the boy was about to get a mouthful of mud. Jun Bufan thought in terror, that's Gu Changa. How did they catch up to us? Then, Gu Changa quietly stepped out from the spatial rift. He said with imposing grandeur, hand over the key, my little treasure. Kong Lushen, who was nearby, smugly thought. Always following Gu Changa around bullying others, never having to worry about the consequences, this feels so good. The people below screamed in fear, young master. Young master Changa. Yu Wei was even more shocked and thought, how is he here? Jun Bufan angrily thought, if I give the key to Gu Changa now, there will be no turning back. Forget it, I'll go in first. After saying that, the young man raised his leg, preparing to rush in. But Gu Shi immediately waved his hand, summoning Susanoo, holding the beautiful Jun Ruashi. Gu Changa spoke, don't be in such a hurry. If they're not enough, how about your own sister? Jun Ruashi was indeed not dead, she had only been lightly cut on the neck, probably beaten by Gu Changa to the point of being captured alive. She weakly called out, Buffon. Gu Changa continued, if you try to escape, I'll cut off her head immediately. Bai Lian Ni witnessed this and thought to herself, using family members to threaten, this tactic is too familiar. Jun Buffon shouted angrily, sister. Gu Changa. You bastard. I will definitely kill you. Then, he launched a blast of ordinary book power towards Gu Changa. But Gu Shi just stood there, calmly drawing his sword, smirking and saying, overestimating yourself. In less than half a breath, Gu Changa shattered Jun Buffon's ordinary book power into pieces. Witnessing this, Jun Buffon was filled with extreme fear, shouting, Xianyang Tian Dao. Uncle Yi. Did you kill Uncle Yi? Over there, Gu Changa controlled Susanoo to raise Jun Ruashi's arms, making her delicate figure sway in the wind. After pointing his sword at her neck, he asked, well. Choose. Jun Ruashi whispered, Buffon. Don't worry about me. Hurry and enter that door to find father. Only father can save you and take revenge for me. At that moment, Jun Buffon had become a helpless soldier. All he could do was stand there and shout desperately, sister. Gu Changa sneered and continued, your sister risked her life for you. If you abandon her now, you will be no different from a beast. After speaking, Gu Changa lightly pierced Jun Ruashi's side with the tip of his sword, and blood started to flow. Jun Buffon anxiously shouted, stop. I'll give it to you. I'll give you the key, but you must swear not to harm any of us. Gu Changa smirked and said proudly, good, the deal is settled. Scene transition. After a while, the three of them were sitting there. Gu Changa spoke, his cultivation has been sealed by me. You two stay here and watch them. After speaking, he picked up the key and studied it carefully, muttering to himself, actually, there's nothing special about it. It seems like some kind of beast scale. Kong Lushan curiously asked, what is that? But after being discovered by Gu Changa, she took a step back, feeling flustered, and turned to leave. After a while, Gu Changa finally opened the door and walked inside. Outside, two beautiful women were guarding. Jiang Lushan said, has he gone in? Bai Liener also spoke, he went in, no need to emphasize it every time. On the other side, as soon as Gu Changa left, Jun Buffon hurriedly sat up, quickly ran to the injured Jun Ruashi lying there, and shouted, sister, is she okay? Seeing her brother sweetly call someone else sister, Jun Jiao couldn't help but feel a bit heartbroken. But suddenly, Bai Liener stepped forward and struck Jun Buffon with a palm, sending him flying. He was hit so hard that he spat blood, and the young man shouted in fear, damn it, Bai Liener, what are you doing? Bai Liener glanced at him and coldly said, stay put and don't move. Jiang Lushan walked to the door and said, I've seen this kind of aura in the scriptures of the Tai Su divine clan. This is spiritual. See bone, which only appears after a peerless demon dies. The world inside this death gate is probably not simple. Then she suddenly remembered something and thought to herself, why should I worry about him? Dying inside is best. This way, the Tai Su divine clan will no longer have to worry. Scene transition to the inside of the death gate. Gu Changa was wandering around, looking around. He said, the source of the demon realm is probably in this space. As for the changes in luck for the 6 emperors, at most, they can only help 2 or 3 people cultivate and comprehend. If that's the case, internal strife is unavoidable. In the distance, there was the corpse of a massive monster, covered in wounds. Gu Changa thought, this red mist is likely a substance created after the death of a demon emperor. It carries incredible spirituality and wants to devour the flesh and blood of living beings. Let me use the Hongmeng Zijian to take a look. Then Gu Chang'e chanted a spell. The images that appeared from the Hongmeng Zijian seemed to be from 6,000 years ago. At that time, the demon emperors came here and fought an internal war, with both sides fiercely battling. Gu Chang'e thought, 2 emperor realms, for semi-emperors, were they killed just after stepping into the semi-emperor realm? The 2 who escaped are most likely the Xianyang demon emperor and Shi Jiao's mother, the Wuyu demon emperor. Oh, could it be that Shi Jiao, you are? Humph, I was worried they would unite to fight against foreign enemies. If the demon emperor is dead, everything will be much easier. Scene transition to another place. Several auras appeared on the dim mountain range. These auras grew stronger and illuminated the entire dark sky. In the cave on the mountain wall, various colored auras shot out from inside. This one is called the Qi Shao Demon Emperor. He spoke, someone has entered here. This is Xue Li Demon Emperor. She sat there, and although her posture was proud, she had to admit that 6,000 years of flying machines were still quite powerful. Ha! She spoke, could it be that Xianyang has brought in reinforcements? He promised not to reveal this matter, but he secretly left a message for his son, planning to kill us. Humph, after so many years, we've recovered, and we will kill as many as we can. The other one sitting nearby was the nameless demon emperor, who said, when this world matures, Xianyang and Wuyu will definitely not be able to control it. That will be their time of death. The scene shifts to another place, where some yellowish aura appeared on the mountain cliff. There was no one else inside, it was Xianyang Demon Emperor. He said excitedly, they've arrived. Wuyu appeared from the side and spoke, Brother Xianyang, is something the matter? Xianyang Demon Emperor replied. Just now, I felt the key I left for Fanner triggered the rules of this world, proving it has arrived here. Wuyu Demon Emperor was surprised, really? At this moment, Gu Chang'e was enjoying the body of the Demon Emperor and thought, in these 6,000 years, I've at least lost 70% of my original power. Fortunately, both sides are severely injured and are on guard against each other, which, in the end, benefits me. One more step and I'll reach the Supreme Realm. This feels great, really great. Do you think I look handsome and charming when I smile? After a while, Gu Chang'e followed the directions and flew off, found it. Seeing the target ahead, he accelerated toward it. In the cave, Xianyang Demon Emperor continued, back then, I left a bit of demon world essence and a law body for Buffon to guide him here. To cover this up and prevent Qi Shao and others from knowing, I spent quite a bit of effort. Now that the essence of the demon world is almost formed, it's just in time. Wuyu Demon Emperor continued, in these 6,000 years, it's truly pitiful for those 2 children, Shi Jiao and Buffon, they were childhood sweethearts, such a shame. Well, in the eyes of the upper realm, our demon world is no different from the lower realm. They can bully us however they want, isn't that because only Qi Shao and I are those who have attained the Tao? Our becoming immortals is the grand righteousness of the demon world, so what does it matter about these little emotional matters? Upon hearing Wuyu Demon Emperor change his attitude to agree, he added, indeed, if we can break through that realm, perhaps we can challenge the major forces of the upper realm. The 2 stood waiting and finally saw the purple light coming, oh, here it is. But, recognizing it was not their child, the old Demon Emperor roared, not Fanner. Who are you? Gu Chang'e happened to fly in front of them, and the Demon Emperor unleashed his power and demanded, where did this scale come from? Gu Chang'e endured the pressure and explained, you 2 must be Xianyang Demon Emperor and Wuyu Demon Emperor, right? He thought to himself, the aura is stable and powerful, it looks like the 6 emperors' injuries are almost fully healed. The old Demon Emperor was also surprised by his question, you know our identities? Gu Chang'e respectfully replied, I am the young master of the Changxing Gu family, Gu Chang'e, paying respects to both demon emperors. The old demon emperor's momentum weakened upon hearing Gu family, no wonder you've reached the quasi-supreme realm at such a young age. Wuyu Demon Emperor thought to himself, How could such a strange genius appear with the demon worlds? Luck. At this moment, Xianyang Demon Emperor lowered his voice and asked, "May I ask, young Master Gu, this scale?" He continued, "It's Fanner who asked me to come find you both. Today, he was captured by Queen Shijiao and cannot escape." Xianyang, upon hearing this, did not believe it and said, "This matter is important. How can I trust you?" Gu Chang'e did not hesitate to boast, "I am sworn brothers with Fanner. He's a few thousand years older than me, and I boldly call him uncle. Please, uncle, let me explain everything in detail." After narrating, Xianyang Demon Emperor seemed to believe a bit. "I see. He was caught after failing to assassinate Queen Shijiao at the Genius Banquet. Wu Yu sighed after hearing this. Gu Chang'e confirmed, "That's right. And using the message in the pouch, he sent me to find you two and resolve this misunderstanding." The old demon emperor was surprised and asked, "You even know the contents of the pouch?" He thought to himself, only Buffon could open the pouch. If he knows these things, maybe what he says is true. Gu Chang'e then took out something and said, "That's right, the pouch was a token from Uncle by Kuan to Buffon." Wu Yu recognized the item and said, "This is." Xianyang Demon Emperor immediately confirmed. "This is indeed by Kuan's jade pendant." Gu Chang'e explained, "I originally planned to see Queen Shijiao and explain, but Buffon was worried that something might happen to Uncle, so he directly sent me here." He then took out something resembling a sword. "By the way, there's also this. Unfamiliar brother asked me to give this to you." The two were shocked and exclaimed, "Xianyang Heavenly Sword." Xianyang felt confused in his heart. This imperial weapon would make even those who have reached the Tao covet it. How did that boy not feel tempted to seize it? Is the Chongqing family this noble? Or is it because their foundation is so strong that they don't care? In any case, it's not a loss for Unfamiliar to befriend this boy. He quickly took the Xianyang Heavenly Sword and said, "Thank you, little brother, for the great help from the Chongqing family." He replied, "No need to be polite, uncle. Unfamiliar and I hit it off right away, and we are both upright people. The task entrusted to me will naturally be completed." Holding the Xianyang Heavenly Sword in his hand, he also felt its power. With the Xianyang Heavenly Sword in hand, "Qi Tian. Wait for me to take your head." As he spoke, he thought to himself, "Anyway, no one gave you the Qi Tian weapon." He then continued, "But I have a request. I hope the two seniors can answer my question about the truth of the chaos in the demon world 6,000 years ago." Wu Xuan looked over with a questioning gaze, Xianyang. He did not refuse and replied, "All right, the timing is already ripe. Moreover, little brother Chongqing family is trustworthy." With permission, Wu Xuan said, "If you want to know the truth, follow us. But you must be careful, because even the aftermath of battles between emperors could cost you your life." He happily responded, "All right." A while later, the battle between Xianyang Demon Emperor, Wu Xuan Demon Emperor, and the other three demon emperors began. Upon seeing them, one of the demon emperors asked, "Xianyang, Wu Yue, are you finally showing yourselves?" Xianyang snorted coldly, "Get ready to strike immediately, no more wasting words. Today, the original demon world will be ours." Xianyang stretched out his hand, summoning countless massive fireballs to fall from the sky. Seeing this, Qi Tian Demon Emperor, leading the three others, immediately shouted, "Shueli." Shueli Demon Emperor understood and immediately gathered the power of water to create a water ball. The water barrier was then raised, blocking the fireballs. The collision of the two moves produced a deafening explosion, lighting up the sky in an instant. The rock mountain below couldn't withstand it and exploded. Suddenly, an attack resembling peach blossom petals flew toward Xianyang, but he quickly changed his form and dodged swiftly. Then, a surge of blood energy rushed toward him. It gathered into Qi Tian Demon Emperor, who charged forward, preparing to strike. Xianyang also took a stance, ready to counter. After the collision, the sky trembled, with lightning continuously striking down, and terrifying explosions spreading throughout the surroundings. As the moves dissipated, Xian Yang held the Xian Yang heavenly sword, and the demon emperor, who had turned into blood energy, seemed to have been struck by a sword. The blood energy gradually gathered, and it seemed that this demon emperor was a vampire. At this moment, he also realized in terror, Xian Yang heavenly sword. Your Dao weapon. Was it brought to you by the person who just arrived? Xian Yang did not hide it and said directly, that's my son's brother. Thanks to it, with the imperial weapon in my hand, you have no way out. Stop struggling. Another demon emperor transformed into a giant and charged toward Xian Yang, ready to capture him. Unafraid, Xian Yang said, you're just a newly ascended quasi-supreme. Although you have imperial energy in your hands, the two of you still have no chance against three. Xian Yang sneered, saying, no hurry, I'll deal with Qishao first. As soon as he finished speaking, Wuyue also made her move to block. She transformed into a deer and charged toward the giant demon emperor's chest, pushing him away. Shueli demon emperor gathered the power of water to form a water dragon and charged forward, interrupting, Wuyue. You are already the weakest, do you think you can hold us back? From a distance, Gu Chang'e silently evaluated. The battles between emperors are indeed earth-shattering, with every move shaking heaven and earth. But when both sides suffer heavy losses, the fisherman gains. In the end, victory or defeat won't depend on the power gap, but on both sides being severely wounded. At that time, I will capture the emperors and completely kill them. Although the origin is from the origin demon realm, entering the quasi-emperor realm requires tremendous resources. With the 5 emperors' origins, perhaps I can reach it. The two sides continued their intense battle, with the sword energy from the Xian Yang heavenly sword tearing apart Qishao demon emperor's attacks. He was continuously at a disadvantage, being pushed back. At this point, 2 deep wounds had already been inflicted on his chest by Xian Yang. Helpless, he took out a feather. This item was refined by me millions of years ago and has never truly appeared. When it does, it will surely stain with the blood of emperors before it returns. Xian Yang recognized the feather and said, Yuan Shi Zhenwu. Humph. But even if you summon Zhenwu, what difference does it make? It won't change your doomed fate. Qishao demon emperor looked at the battle behind him and coldly said, right now, I can't fight you, who have imperial energy, but all I need to do is buy time. Wuyue can't hold on much longer. The two of them attacked Wuyue together without mercy. Shueli said, Wuyue, you should know your limits. Why not submit to us? We won't kill you. Wuyue was already severely injured, her clothes torn, and one of her hands was missing. But Wuyue ignored them and instead formed another hand, shouting angrily, dream on. Seeing this, Shueli immediately ordered, kill her. The giant demon emperor quickly charged forward. In an instant, he appeared behind Wuyue and grabbed her. The giant demon emperor kept tightening his grip, not letting Wuyue escape, while Shueli took the opportunity to launch a powerful attack. As the attack was about to hit, Shueli said, Wuyue. This is your own doing. Wuyue was unafraid and instead smiled, as if she had already anticipated it. A red moonlight appeared on her forehead. Shueli was horrified when he saw this, sweating profusely, his face filled with fear. The nameless giant was also terrified. The two of them could only shout, we're doomed. Then, a loud explosion erupted, blasting everything around them away. Xian Yang and Qishao were also affected and stopped. Qishao realized, she actually self-destructed her body. Amid the intense explosion, the brilliance was blinding, and Shueli and the nameless giant were engulfed by the blast. Qishao thought, but even so, Shueli and the nameless giant couldn't possibly die. Xian Yang didn't care and coldly snorted. As long as they're severely injured, that's enough. Once I capture you, killing them will be a mere afterthought. After the explosion dissipated, the nameless giant was seen covered in injuries, his skin peeling off, and his body seemed to be scorched. At this moment, he also opened his hands and pulled Shueli out. She was badly injured, constantly coughing and cursing, "That bastard Wuyue, she tricked us." Looking up at the sky, he saw a purple light quickly flying away. Wuyue's true origin is incredibly powerful. Destroying her body won't affect her. Origin. She's escaped, but she won't recover much in a short time. We should take this opportunity to recover and help Qishao capture Xianyang. The hidden timing saw the light pass overhead. He showed a joyful smile and thought, "You can't escape. Once I kill those four, I'll come for you." Meanwhile, Xianyang kept attacking, lightning striking down, and Qishao kept running like a stray dog. Xianyang advised, "Qishao, stop running." At this point, Qishao was covered in wounds, blood splattering everywhere. Xianyang raised his sword toward the sky, with many lightning bolts gathering and wrapping around the sword. Several massive fireballs rose like suns. These giant suns seemed to have surrounded Qishao, and Xianyang continued, "Qishao, why are you struggling? In vain. We've known each other for thousands of years. I, the Emperor, will spare your corpse." Qishao saw this move and fearfully thought, "This move might destroy the entire world. My vitality is already weakening, and the remaining Yuan Shizhen Wu can't resist." Xianyang confidently declared, "The origin demon realm is mine." As he prepared to joyfully sell out Qishao, the old man suddenly widened his eyes. At this moment, the heavenly blade could not strike down, and purple power flowed out, forming chains that wrapped around his hand. "Damn it! I can't move. What kind of power is this? It can even act on imperial energy." Qishao, seeing this, excitedly flew up. What a great opportunity! Though it was sudden, Xianyang remained alert and responded with his other hand. "Humph, wishful thinking." Qishao shot out a fast-moving white light, and Xianyang raised his hand to form a protective shield. However, this time, Qishao's attack was the Yuan Shizhen Wu. It flew incredibly fast without any obstruction and directly pierced through Xianyang's demon emperor body. Seeing the attack hit the target, Qishao couldn't help but laugh loudly. Although I don't know what happened. To your sword, you've already taken a hit from Yuan Shizhen Wu. In a short time, you'll be deeply torn. I've won." Xianyang was hit in the chest and immediately lost all his strength, falling freely to the ground, blood spilling out. As he hit the ground, he realized, "It's that kid, he dared, just a quasi-supreme dared." Xianyang fell heavily to the ground, thinking to himself, "Even if we both suffer, what can his cultivation do?" Suddenly, a huge tornado formed on the ground, flying straight up into the sky, triggered by Qishao. He proudly said, "The origin demon realm is mine, and you will die here. From now on, the demon realm will exalt me alone, ha ha ha." Suddenly, he widened his eyes again because he was struck by the power of time. In that instant, the hidden timing appeared and struck his abdomen with a pig fork. He smiled wickedly and said, "I think you should stay here with Xianyang, Demon Emperor." At this moment, Qi Yan also realized, "You are the one who entered here. This strange spear easily pierced through my body, could it be the legendary 8 Wilderness Forbidden?" He smiled and replied, "Senior talks too much." "Ah, you." Below, Xianyang couldn't help but be even more surprised, "So you were plotting against us from the very beginning?" At this moment, he was struggling to absorb, and Qi Yan, on his deathbed, said, "I never expected that after rampaging in the demon realm for years, I'd fall to the hands of a kid." He replied, "I won't show mercy with your origin." The two, Shui Li and the nameless giant, who were healing, stopped when they saw this scene. Shui Li exclaimed, "That is, not good." After draining Qi Yan's origin, Li Feng continued to move downward. "It's your turn, Xianyang." Xianyang, on his deathbed, also said, "How ironic. This emperor, who has dominated, ends up being defeated by someone like you. I have one last question, what about my son?" Li Feng laughed and said, "What? You still care about your son before dying? It's too late. I've already killed him." Upon hearing this, Xianyang fell silent. Before he could say anything more, Li Feng swiftly stabbed the spear into his body, saying as he stabbed, "Just die. What does being a fake emperor amount to? I know a thing or two about the weapon in your hand." Xian Yang screamed. In pain, as if his flesh were being cut, "Ah ah." He then said, trying to delay time. "Too bad, I hate nonsense." Li Feng's expression was extremely vicious, and he spoke coldly, "Die quietly." Shui Li and the nameless giant quickly dodged, afraid of being hit by Li Feng's spear. Shui Li asked, "If I'm not mistaken, that's demonic energy, right?" The nameless giant confirmed, "Yes, but those who practice demonic energy wouldn't normally have this kind of power. Only a near-emperor level could raise their energy to this extent. We should retreat for now, and once fully recovered, we'll come back to deal with him." Just as Shui Li thought of escaping, she collided with the barrier set up by Li Feng and ended up with her face and chest trapped by 2 iron hammers. The two looked at this scene in surprise. "What is this?" "It's a formation." Li Feng, now with the spear on his back, caught up and asked, "Where are the 2 demon emperors in such a hurry to go? Ended up crashing into a formation and got your faces swollen?" Shui Li fearlessly said, "Kid, even though we are severely injured, you can't just kill us when you want. How about we each split our origin demon realm?" He spoke, "No, the origin demon realm and your origin. I'll take them all." After saying that, he summoned the shadow of a demonic general. The nameless giant said in terror, "Is this guy at the level of a demon emperor?" Shui Li, also scared, said, "Nameless, we must fight with all we have, it's our only chance." Li Feng chuckled and grinned, "You think you have a chance? I don't see it at all." The scene shifted to Wu Yu, who had already flown into a cave. As she walked, she thought, as expected, "I'm no match for Shui Li and the others, staying here is meaningless." Wu Yu's soul transformed and approached a stone door, still silently speaking, "Brother Xianyang has the Xianyang Sky Blade, he should be fine." A pair of feet appeared inside the door, untouched by mosquito bites. "My top priority is to quickly recover my body." And a complete body had already been prepared by Wu Yu. The battle returns to this moment. Wu Ming has already fallen dead on a stone pillar, and Shui Li is being pierced by my Chao halberd, continuously having his origin absorbed. The system then announces, "Early stage of the Supreme Realm." Shui Li, having his origin absorbed by my Chao halberd, his body gradually becomes dry and loses vitality. Another notification follows, "Mid-stage of the Supreme Realm." I thought joyfully, finally reached the mid-stage of the Supreme Realm. After absorbing the origin of the Demon Emperor Wu Yu, I should be able to smoothly enter the late stage, then devour the origin Demon Realm and step into the Quasi-Emperor Realm. Outside, Bai Lianer said, "We don't need to wait here anymore, he won't come out of this door." Jiang Leshen asked. In confusion, "How do you know?" Lianer replied, "Do you think the previous life gate was used for what?" Then Bai Lianer said, "Take them to the life gate." Jiang Leshen angrily said, "Ha! What is with your commanding tone? I joined before you, shouldn't you be the one doing this?" Bai Lianer smiled and said, "I was given an important task, while you are just a maid serving tea, it's obvious whose position is higher, isn't it?" Jiang Leshen couldn't believe it after hearing this, but it was indeed true, and she couldn't argue back. Inside, Wu Yu, after her soul entered a new body, was healing her wounds. Suddenly, she widened her eyes, realizing something. I, Chao, tore through space and appeared. Wu Yu then asked, "Young Master Chao, why have you chased me here?" I replied, "I saw that Senior Wu Yu's injuries were severe, and I was worried, so I followed here." I revealed a sinister smile and said, "I have plenty of holy medicines to treat wounds. If Senior needs them." Wu Yu interrupted and asked, "What was the situation of the battle when you left?" I calmly answered, "The situation of the battle? I think." Saying that, I took out a hot object. Then I rushed forward and said, "Senior Wu Yu, why not go down and ask them yourself?" She saw me suddenly rushing up with a hot object, and shouted, "Do you dare?" Suddenly, she also realized it was the Xianyang Sky Blade. Due to the unexpectedness, Wu Yu didn't react in time, and I, Chao, struck her with one blow, the blade energy piercing through her body. The blade energy's power destroyed the ground, and smoke and dust filled the air. Wu Yu was heavily injured by the blow, and a protective halo appeared around her. Wu Yu exclaimed in surprise, "Supreme Realm, you were clearly in the quasi-supreme realm before." I also realized, oh. This seven-colored immortal garment is indeed a nice treasure. Cracks appeared on the seven-colored immortal garment, and Wu Yu muttered, "Xian Yang and Qi Shao, have you killed them too?" "That's absurd." I, Chao, moved forward and pointed at Wu Yu's head. I said, "Let me see how many blades you can withstand." Knowing she couldn't escape, she said, "Wait. I am willing to die and hand over the immortal divine doctor to you, but can you promise me one request? If you don't, I will self-destruct my body and you'll get nothing." I, upon hearing this, didn't rush to act and asked, "Tell me, what is it?" Wu Yu said, "This request should be very simple for you. I just want you to pass a message to my daughter, Shi Jiao. For over 6,000 years, I have wronged her." Hearing this, he suddenly said, "I don't think it's necessary. You should tell her these words yourself." Upon hearing this, Wu Yu was shocked. "My daughter, Shi Jiao. Did you kill her too?" He retorted, "Daughter? Isn't she your pawn? She's lucky to have survived until now." He then withdrew the hot weapon in his hand, turned, and walked ahead, saying as he left, "I won't kill you. Once you go out, just keep your mouth shut. I believe, with your current achievements, you won't be that foolish." Wu Yu thought in disbelief, him and Shi Jiao. In this person's eyes, he clearly seems cold and heartless, but he spared me because of Shi Jiao. Then she called out to him, "Wait, take this." The colorful clothes were also thrown to him. Gu Chang'e did not refuse, instead saying, "Wait for me at the life gate." Gu Chang'e then walked towards the origin demon realm. He thought to himself, if she grows up, maybe the demon realm will change and evolve to a higher level. At that time, perhaps a demon immortal will appear. But just in case, I can't wait, even if it's wasting time. After that, Gu Chang'e jumped in without hesitation, to absorb the origin. Half a month later, a huge purple vortex appeared in the sky of the demon realm. Everyone was surprised and discussed, this strange phenomenon in the sky has lasted for more than 10 days. Are we going to be exterminated? Is a disaster coming from the heavens? Shi Jiao and the gods had been observing for a long time. Someone asked, what exactly happened in the demon realm? Someone else said, I have never seen such a world-shaking phenomenon in my entire life. The old chancellor, sweating profusely, said, Your Majesty, this. Shi Jiao encouraged, don't panic. Although this phenomenon is very conspicuous, it's not the end of the world. Despite saying this, she secretly thought, could this be related to Gu Chang'e's purpose for coming to the demon realm? What exactly is he doing? At this moment, someone at the door said, it's been half a month, why hasn't he come out yet? Jun Bufan sent a voice transmission, asking, Sister, what exactly is the world under that ancient well? The sister responded, it's a small world. If Gu Chang'e enters there, encountering father and them would only lead to death. Let's wait. Once father comes out, we'll be safe. Jun Bufan sneered and said, Sister is right, there's at least a quasi-emperor level presence there. He should pay the price for his arrogance. Jiang Leshen, however, happily said, has he already died? The opponent might be the demon emperor. Bai Lianer then asked, you seem so happy. What if I tell Gu Chang'e about this? Upon hearing this, Leshen snorted coldly, he's a suspicious person and will only think you are sowing discord. Do you think he'll believe you? Just then, Bai Lianer took out the shadow stone. Leshen was terrified upon seeing it, you're so despicable. At that moment, a beam of purple light shot up from the ancient well to the sky. They were all stunned, someone is coming out. The aura is so terrifying. The power of the purple light gradually gathered. Then Wu Yu walked out, it's the demon emperor. Jiang Leshen was sweating profusely and anxiously said, it's over. Chingchanga is definitely dead. Bailener transmitted a voice message, don't act impulsively, you won't even know how you died. Leshen asked, that bastard, is he really dead? Bailener retorted, weren't you just happy a moment ago? Wei Bufan saw the person and recognized him, that's the Wu Yu Demon Emperor, Shi Jiao's mother. Song Wei said, this is the first time I've seen an existence at the Demon Emperor level. Wei Bufan happily continued, so does this mean father and the others won? Seeing the people below, Wu Yu also recognized them, Jun Ruashi. That person over there should be Wei Bufan. The grandson who still didn't know anything continued to laugh like a madman, ha ha ha, Chingchanga calculated everything, and in the end, he calculated his own death. At this moment, Chingchanga poked his head out and suddenly asked, huh? Who died? Bailener and Leshen both said in unison, Chingchanga. Jun Ruashi also asked in disbelief, Wu Yu Demon Emperor and father are sworn siblings, what's going on here? Wei Bufan, even more shocked, asked Chingchanga, you didn't die, then what about father? Chingchanga pretended to be foolish and answered, how would I know? Didn't the Xianyang Demon Emperor die 6,000 years ago? Wei Bufan incredulously asked, huh? You? Jiang Leshen thought to himself, what is this strange sense of security? Meanwhile, Bailener silently observed, his cultivation has become even more unfathomable now. Chingchanga then said, everyone, let's go back to the imperial capital. He turned to Wei and said, oh, being able to catch Wei Bufan this time, Miss Wei deserves a lot of credit. I will tell Shi Jiao about this. Wei could only say, young master Chingchanga. He continued, and Miss Wei Jiao, when we return, I will request Shi Jiao to spare your family. Wei Jiao, thank you, young master Chingchanga. Before she could finish, Chingchanga continued, Miss Wei Jiao's name always reminds me of a fool wearing a mask. Wei Jiao asked in confusion, huh? A fool wearing a mask? Wei Bufan, seeing how close the three were, shouted angrily, no wonder Chingchanga was able to find me so easily. Wei, sister. I didn't expect you to betray me too. Wei Jiao responded, I'm not your sister. Wei also said, you make me feel unfamiliar. Jiang Leshen stepped forward and slapped Wei Bufan, scolding, be honest. You're nothing compared to Chingchanga. The scene shifted to Shi Jiao, who was still observing the sky. The strange phenomenon in the demon realm has finally disappeared. What exactly is that person doing? Are we really just in a transactional relationship? Just then, Chingchanga suddenly appeared. Is Her Majesty the Queen thinking of me? Hearing the voice, she turned around and smiled, asking, has young Master Chingchanga finally decided to return? Still. Suddenly, she widened her eyes, recognizing him, you are. Wu Yu, standing next to Chingchanga, spoke, Shi Jiao, you have suffered all these years. I am sorry, my dear. Shi Jiao, seeing Wu Yu, also had tears in her eyes, calling out, Mother. Mother. She shouted as she ran toward her. Wu Yu wiped away Shi Jiao's tears and said, you've grown up. Shi Jiao, in disbelief, asked, is it really you? Over 6,000 years, where have you been? Chingchanga turned to leave at this moment, bidding farewell, you two are reunited, so I won't disturb you. Watching him leave, Shi Jiao thought to herself, looking back, it wasn't all just business. Wu Yu also said, the power and achievements of the Qing family's young master are truly something rare in my lifetime. If you have feelings for him. Shi Jiao immediately replied, he is already engaged, you and he are just fine like this. By the way, how did mother react when she saw him? These years, you. Wu Yu replied, I will slowly tell you. The scene shifted elsewhere. Jun Jiao saw her father being released and shouted, Father. The old man saw his daughter and shouted, Jiao, this time it's all thanks to your relationship with young Master Changa. By the way, I heard that he will return to the upper realm soon. If you want to follow and become a concubine. She immediately said, Father, young Master Changa seems to dislike my name. The old man asked, What? In a certain place, Jun Bufan shouted loudly, Let me out. Let me out. He had 648 points of luck above his head. He shouted, Gu Changa, what do you want to do? He was holding his hand and said, Of course, I'm here to take you to see your father emperor. Don't keep him waiting too long. He didn't believe it and shouted loudly, What? Impossible. You're lying. My father emperor is the demon emperor. He's a true Taoist. Unconcerned, Gu Changa said, Just go down and see for yourself, won't you know? Hearing this, Jun Bufan was extremely scared and asked, You want to kill me? You swore not to make things difficult for me. Gu Changa, are you really going to joke with your own Tao heart? Gu Changa then said, That thing, I never said it. After that, he suddenly squeezed his hand. The system immediately notified, Kill the child of destiny, Jun Bufan. Congratulations on obtaining. Congratulations on obtaining the sapling of the world tree. Seeing this, he thought, this should be related to the origin of the world, right? Forget it, I'll just put it in the world for now. Half a month later, everyone came to send off Gu Changa, and Shi Jiao reluctantly asked, Have you decided to return? He replied, The matter has been resolved, of course, it's time to return to the upper realm. Luo Shen saw that. He kept squeezing something, so he asked, Are you going or not? Shi Jiao then added, Remember to take care. Upon hearing this, Gu Changa said, If you can't bear it, you can come with me. Bai Liener, seeing that he was still throwing bait, pulled Luo Shen and said, Let's go first. Jiang Luo Shen, being pulled along, couldn't help but say, Young Master Changa isn't afraid your Ming Kong will be angry? I've seen it already, and today you're bringing back another queen. This doesn't seem like just a threat. Hearing this, he frowned. Then he thought of the scene where Ming Kong threatened with a sword, and Shi Jiao by his side said, This monarch does not have the habit of becoming a concubine. Ming Kong angrily cursed, Gu Changa, either she dies, or I die. You decide. Thinking of this, he said no more, turned around, and left, Take care. I'll visit you when I have time. The demon realm still needs you. Hearing this, Shi Jiao agreed, Okay. Soon, Gu Changa gradually disappeared into the teleportation array. Wu Yu then said, Maybe you can get pregnant in these half-months. Shi Jiao replied, He is a heartless person, he won't let such a thing happen. Wu Yu smiled and said, But he's not a heartless person. The scene switched to the Chongqing family. Bai Liener rushed into the secret room and locked by Si Yuan, shouting, Father. Master. Hearing this, the elder also responded, Liener. Gu Changa didn't make things difficult for you, right? She replied, I'm fine, now I work for him. Seeing that her father was fine, she thought, Gu Changa didn't lie to me. At the Gu residence, the subordinate reported, Master, Princess Luo Shen has already returned to the Taisu Divine Clan. He then asked, What happened during my time away from the upper realm? The subordinate answered. The burial demon abyss erupted, demonic energy soared to the sky, and the Xian Kong Buddhist temple was nearly destroyed. Many monks from the Buddhist mountain died, and even a Buddha could not suppress it. Hearing this, he thought to himself, It seems like it's time to go out after all. She must hate me so much. My best disciple. A bloodthirsty female demon in red clothes drew her sword and attacked. In a certain place, the scenery was incredibly dreamlike. Qing Di was sitting by the water, playing. Gu Changa flew over and asked, You're here? He replied, Just came to see you and check on that little guy. The little bai in the water was energetically chasing the fish. Qing Di replied, I don't have much to show. Gu Changa immediately complimented, No, you're very beautiful. Little bai has improved a lot recently. You've worked hard. A massive dragon carp came charging, wanting to swallow little bai. Qing Di casually said, it eats a lot and grows quickly. At this moment, Little Bai opened its mouth and swallowed the huge fish in one bite. Ching Di continued, I just watch it eat every day and don't interfere. Gu Chang'e took out a few accessories and said, I brought back some little trinkets for you from the demon realm. Ching Di picked up a comb and asked, Speak, what is it? He didn't beat around the bush and directly said, I want Ching Di to go to the burial demon abyss and check on the seal there. Ching Di did not refuse. Have you remembered something? Upon hearing this, Gu Chang'e immediately broke into a cold sweat. What? At this moment, Little Bai flew back and called, Sister Ching Di. Then, Little Bai unexpectedly transformed into a girl. Gu Chang'e was also surprised and said, She can actually transform. I'm your master, didn't you see? Little Bai loudly said, You mind your own business, I don't recognize you as my master. Gu Chang'e laughed and said, I still prefer the way you were just playing around. Little Bai ran to Ching Di's side and said, You're the one causing trouble. Humph. Gu Chang'e then said, Ching Di, you've spoiled her. I'll take my leave now. Ching Di replied, A moment later, Father, you were looking for me? The boundary stones of the 8 desolations and 10 domains are almost running out. The 8 desolations and 10 domains were the places where a great battle with the upper realm broke out in the past, weren't they? Back then, the 8 desolations and 10 domains were defeated, and they had to retreat. Many of the strongest joined forces to open the lower realm boundary stone sea beyond the borders, which contains inviolable power. The higher the cultivation, the harder it is to break through. Even those who have attained Tao are powerless. It has become a barrier between the upper realm and the 8 desolations and 10 domains. The old father also agreed, saying, That's right, according to legend, only when the 2 realms merge and the immortal path reappears can cultivators break the curse of being unable to become immortals. Today, the various great orthodoxies have decided to send out their armies, taking advantage of the collapse of the laws, crossing the boundary stone sea, and merging the 2 realms. Gu Chang'e cupped his fists respectfully and asked, Does Father intend for me to lead the clan to expand our territory? The old father replied, This time, the 8 desolations and 10 domains will probably have many emperors involved. Concerned about your safety, I plan to have your second uncle take the lead first. Hearing Emperor Realm, Gu Chang'e thought to himself, I've killed 4 of those people before. Then, he asked outside, So, Father called me here for. The old father continued, You now have the highest prestige among the younger generation, go inspire the elites in our clan and the affiliated forces. Gu Chang'e answered, Yes. Then, the old father said, You may leave now. Gu Chang'e did not leave, but instead walked forward and noticed his father's eyes were swollen. Ah, father, mother. Must have caught you stealing a bite, right? Mother's really ruthless, still not recovered. Father, as the head of the family, you should pay attention to your image. The old father angrily said, You should mind your own business. The scene shifted to a few days later. Gu Chang'e stood in front of hundreds of warships and gave a speech, The 8 desolations and 10 domains are nothing but the hiding place of the defeated. How could they stop the 10,000 iron-blooded warriors of the Gu family? This time, we must let the Gu family's name resound and flatten the 8 desolations and 10 domains. Everyone excitedly shouted, Flatten the 8 desolations and 10 domains. Flatten the 8 desolations and 10 domains. The 2 gate guards who saw this were discussing, I heard that the young master won't be going with the army, he has other things to do. Someone nearby said, Now, the young master's strength is so profound that even the esteemed elders can't see through him. They even said they aren't his match. Isn't that strange? Another person replied, Our young master is just that outstanding, otherwise, how could he keep bringing back saints and princesses? Gu Chang'e thought to himself, although the 8 desolations and 10 domains have been defeated repeatedly, the situation often changes. At such times, the upper realm seems to have the upper hand, but there are many hidden dangers. I always feel this matter is not simple. It's time to take out the treasure. After Jiang Luoshan returned, she also saluted her father, Father King. Her father asked, I heard you went to the demon realm with him. That guy is despicable and shameless, Luoshan, you've suffered. Once our clan is strong enough. Suddenly, she said again, Father King, I think we shouldn't be at odds with him anymore. Actually, he is not bad to his own people. She thought to herself, I just think you can't defeat him, in the end, he killed you. The elder's eyes flashed with light. Upon hearing this, the elder's gaze returned to normal, his own people. The scene shifted to the Ming Kong dynasty. To Ming Kong, this trip to the demon realm was fraught with danger. My husband battled the demon emperor's son with wisdom and courage. Eventually, he uncovered the demon emperor's scheme, and for the greater good, my husband could only barely resist the Tao attainments of the demon realm cultivators with his low-level quasi-emperor cultivation. When he almost couldn't hold on, Ming Kong personally empowered my husband, finally defeating the powerful enemy. This divine medical text is extraordinary, I hope you won't discard it, my wife. After reading the letter, she said, what nonsense, writing letters again. But this is indeed a valuable self-preservation item. In Juan Mina's location, she too received a letter and 2 bracelets. This is the Emperor's aura of the Master. Who would take out such a treasure to give away? The scene shifted to another location. Xiao Ruoyin happily shouted, Master. I did it. Master. However, at this moment, her master was reading a letter written by Gu Changa, and there was also a droplet of water appearing beside him. Returning to Gu Changa's place, he was walking with Qing Di. He asked, how is the situation with the demon abyss? Qing Di replied, the seal will be broken in half a year. Hearing this, he silently thought, half a year. That's fine. I can go to Tao Xian and ask about the situation. Although my memory hasn't fully recovered, Tao Xian knows her best. But if I go alone? He thought of the situation when the old men questioned him, did you go to Tao village again? Are you trying to meet Tao Xian? Why didn't Xiener come with you? Are you trying to harm her again? Ah, Xiener. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but click his tongue. Qing Di noticed and asked, oh, what's wrong? He replied, I hate those old fools. After a while, a subordinate reported, Master, Miss Xiener has been missing since she arrived at the Taishu Divine Tomb and descended to the lower realms alone. He asked, do you know where she went? The subordinate replied, Tianlan realm. He snorted, Tianlan realm is where Xiener's maternal family, the Shen family, resides, right? It's not far from the boundary monument sea, and the war between the 8 desolates and 10 domains may spread there. According to the information from Yan Ji, Xiener's grandfather went hunting there to refine her precious blood, but was unfortunately caught in a great wave and disappeared under the boundary monument sea. Later, her parents went to search but have never returned to the Gu family. Xiener must have gone to ask them for help. She hasn't returned, probably because of me. It seems I have to explain it myself. The scene shifted to Tianlan realm. In the Shen family, birds were flying in the sky, and someone's voice rang out, no. I don't agree to marry Xiener to Li Tu. Even with the marriage contract, it's not acceptable. Xiener is a prodigy, the hope of the Shen family, how can we let that guy stick to her? Moreover, Xiener also has the Gu family's bloodline. But this matter was agreed upon by Xiener's grandfather 10 years ago. If we break the contract, won't it embarrass the Shen family? Embarrass? He's just a waste with a shattered spiritual sea. We've given him so many rare treasures, have we not treated him well? I still don't agree to Xiener marrying a useless person. A woman entered and said, Elders, stop arguing about Xiener's marriage. The elders were shocked, Xiener. Xiener has returned. A beautiful woman entered, and it was Shen Xiener. She then said, I only want to pursue the great Tao in my life. I never intended to marry or have children. When my grandfather and grandmother return, I will personally explain this matter to them. One elder comforted her, don't worry, Sienna. Sister Sienna is here in the family, and with her here, no one dares to force you. Li Tu is just a waste with a shattered spiritual sea, how can he be worthy of you? At Sienna's side, her father was demonstrating, Sienna, you need to learn the next move well. Sienna immediately praised, Father is amazing. Sienna's mother smiled and said, Sienna doesn't need these flashy moves from Father. Mother, I want to learn everything Father teaches. She hugged her mother and thought, after what happened back then, my parents and grandfather severed ties with the Gu family and stayed with the maternal family to heal. After my younger sister was born, she took my mother's surname. I really wish I could stay by their side forever. At that moment, Shen Sienna also walked over and asked, Father is showing sister the moves again. Sienna noticed and asked, what's wrong with you, little sister? You look so down. Sienna lowered her head and replied, Sister, the second family's fathers are fighting over my marriage. Her mother sighed, your marriage was originally arranged by your grandfather and grandmother. Back then, when Sienna hadn't gotten into trouble, they went to the Boundary Monument Sea to hunt special beasts to help you cultivate, but they got trapped. But your mother and father tried every method, but they couldn't break the great wave beneath the Boundary Monument Sea. After knowing that you were harmed, we returned to the Shen family, and then little sister was born. Years later, Li Tu and his mysterious master happened to pass by and saved them, then arranged the marriage for little sister. Then Li Tu's master took him somewhere, and it wasn't until 3 years ago that Li Tu suddenly appeared and demanded little sister fulfill the marriage contract. But his spiritual sea was shattered, and he became a waste. At this moment, Sienna's father came over and said, I feel that Li Tu is not simple. For the past 3 years, he has been taking care of flowers and plants, and his demeanor is like a hidden expert. Sienna's mother then said, the key is that little sister is wholeheartedly seeking the Tao. They've only met a few times and already arranged a lifetime together. Isn't this too much of a sacrifice? Sienna sighed, father and mother shouldn't say this so casually. But with my current status in the family, no one dares to force me. Gu Sienna patted her younger sister's shoulder and said, this matter is indeed a bit inappropriate. But over the past 3 years, our Shen family has invested a lot of resources, and we don't actually owe him anything. As long as we compensate him a little, it should be fine. If his mysterious master returns and is dissatisfied, let him propose other demands. Hearing this, Sienna nodded, Suddenly, Sienna's mother happily said, Shen family. Has Sienna finally decided to stay in the Tianlong realm? And not return to that damn Gu family? Her father replied, it's better not to go back. That kid must not treat you well, he's heartless. Back then, you relied on him so much, but he still cruelly laid his hands on you. Sienna also agreed, yes, sister, although the Gu family is a huge force in the Jiutian realm, they are not sincere toward you. It's better to stay in this small Tianlong realm. Gu Sienna smiled and said, Father, Mother. I've said it before, Gu Chang'e is not what everyone thinks. That year was just a misunderstanding. Her mother spoke, Sienna, you must stay vigilant. The reason Gu Chang'e returned your Dao bone must be because he was forced to inherit the family head position. Her father agreed, makes sense, that kid has never been a good person. If it weren't for my weakness. Gu Sienna suddenly laughed loudly, ha ha ha, he's not a good person now either. Sienna silently said, Gu Chang'e. Gu Sienna continued, but I believe he won't harm me. Sienna then thoughtfully said, is he related by blood? I always hear mother say he's a heartless person. But no matter what, he did dig out your Dao bone. If there's a chance, we must teach him a lesson. Suddenly, a subordinate entered and reported, my lord, young miss, the holy maiden of the MANHWA sacred land requests to meet Miss Shen Sienna. Sienna asked in confusion, MANHWA. What does she want with me? Sienna was also surprised, MANHWA sacred land. Siener told me, I heard their ancestors have been in seclusion these years and haven't ascended yet. Siener said, let me accompany you. Once outside, Siener asked, I wonder what the Holy Maiden of Yahweh wants from me. The Holy Maiden of Yahweh spoke, little Siener, long time no see. I heard you don't like your fiancé, so the Shen family plans to break the engagement. Hearing this, Siener immediately asked, where did you hear this news? The Holy Maiden of Yahweh smiled and replied, this matter is not important. I'm just curious to see who the person is that the Shen family once invited, and now you're planning to break the engagement. I hope you can fulfill it. Siener couldn't help but interrupt, are we so familiar? You can just come and go as you please. Seeing Siener, the Holy Maiden of Yahweh asked, who is this? Siener answered, this is my elder sister. The Holy Maiden of Yahweh was surprised, oh. I've never heard that Siener has such an elder sister. Gu Siener crossed her arms and asked, what do I need to report to you? The Holy Maiden of Yahweh frowned, this little girl has quite the attitude, doesn't she know the difference between the Shen family and our MANHWA sacred land? I advise you to think carefully, so you don't bring trouble to the Shen family. Gu Siener listened but did not respond immediately. At that moment, Siener turned and said, Holy Maiden of Yahweh, no need to act like this. I was about to see him, so since you want to meet him, let's go together. She ignored Gu Siener and instead said, thank you, Miss Siener. Gu Siener muttered to herself, this person seems too concerned. Is something wrong? In a courtyard, a young man was watering flowers while an old man stood there and said, Li Tu, these years, the Shen family has done a lot for you. The spiritual herbs and longevity fruits for your spirit sea have never been lacking, and the Shen family has never treated you unfairly. Li Tu. Old man is talking, can you hear me? The young man replied, Elder, there's no need to say more. At the right time, I will naturally leave the Shen family, but not now. And from the beginning, I never asked the Shen family to restore my spirit sea. I said long ago, there's no need to waste resources, it's just that you didn't believe me. The elder angrily pointed at him, you really don't know what's good for you. I see you're planning to cling to the Shen family forever. Li Tu appeared with a handsome demeanor and said, one Shen family is not enough. Let Shen Siener speak for herself. Siener walked over and heard it, then said, such big talk. The elder was surprised and shouted, Siener. Siener didn't waste time talking and said directly, Li Tu, I won't marry you. If you have any demands, feel free to say them, and the Shen family will try their best to meet them. The Holy Maiden of Yahweh was stunned and thought, compared to the person in the painting. Li Tu replied, demands. Forget it, I don't need those things. If you want to break the engagement, I hope you won't regret it in the future. Siener immediately replied, I will never regret it. Li Tu snorted coldly, you really don't know what's good for you. The elder, hearing this, became even angrier, you are so arrogant. Aiu said, sweating profusely, is it really him? Aiu immediately stood up and cupped her fists, Aiu of the Huang Yu Holy Land greets Lord John. The people nearby were astonished and said, this is, what happened? Aiu continued, Lord, the Shen family is nothing but a frog at the bottom of a well, unaware of your noble status. Waiting is fine. Gu Siener thought secretly without surprise, as expected, this person is not simple. Aiu went on, why don't you return with me to the Huang Yu Holy Land? My ancestors have been waiting for you. After speaking, she glanced at Shen Siener and said, Shen Siener, if I were you, I would quickly apologize to the Lord, or you won't be able to bear the consequences. Siener shouted, you. Aiu finally said, the entire Shen family will regret this. The elder couldn't help but shout, nonsense. Aiu, this is the Shen family, not your Huang Yu Holy Land. Siener stepped forward, as long as I am here, let's see who dares to blame her. Siener called from behind, sister. Aiu asked, I know the Shen family has backing from forces from the upper realm. Is it you? But you must understand. There are greater powers beyond the heavens, and people greater than you. Some people's backgrounds are unimaginable. Gu Xiener challenged, indeed, there are greater powers beyond the heavens. Today, I want to see who this Lord of yours really is. Although she said this, Xiener kept worrying in her heart, could it be an old monster? Li Tu responded, I never expected to be looked down upon to this extent, but it's also quite interesting. At this moment, a series of question marks appeared above his head, indicating he would soon be dealt with by Lord Gu. Another elder transmitted anxiously, could it really be a powerful figure from the outside world? The second elder waved his hand, impossible. Do you think powerful figures from the outside world are like vegetables on the street? Li Tu then spoke, forget it, let's leave this little insect who doesn't know the seasons alone. Let's go. Aiu replied, yes, Lord. She then said, Shen Xiener, I gave your Shen family a chance, and you still failed. Shen Xiener angrily replied, you. Suddenly, a beam of light shot up from the ground into the sky. The Shen family elder joyfully said, Ancestor. Has the ancestor come out of seclusion? Li Tu calmly said, the Shen family's ancestor. Aiu smugly said, did you see how extraordinary the Lord is? The ancestor came out to welcome him. The people of the Shen family were also surprised and said, wasn't the ancestor just in seclusion? Why is he coming out now? Something big must have happened. Xiener's parents were also surprised, ancestor. Could something have happened on the woman's side? Let's go and see. Suddenly, the Shen family ancestor swiftly flew over their heads, leaving them confused. What is the ancestor? Looking up at the sky, they saw the Shen family ancestor cupping his fists and bowing. Xiener suddenly asked, what person made the ancestor so cautious? Aiu snorted coldly, unaware of their own limitations, the true protagonist is right in front of them, and they haven't recognized him. Gu Xiener, sweating, said, this atmosphere feels so familiar, and the way it's happening is familiar too. What exactly is going on? Xiener felt confused after hearing this. The Shen family ancestor suddenly spoke, Shen Tianhe, the ancestor of the Shen family, respectfully welcomes the young master of the Gu family, Lord Changsheng. After speaking, the elder was also sweating heavily, seemingly very anxious. The gate to the upper realm opened, and Gu Changge and his subordinates appeared. He looked down, surveying everything around him. The second elder exclaimed, the Gu family, he personally came. Li Tu muttered quietly, the Gu family of Changsheng. This is troublesome. Aiu was also surprised, thinking, so, he is their support in the upper realm. As expected, Gu Xiener said, it's him. Xiener asked, sister, is he? She replied, yes, it's Gu Changge. Gu Changge quickly walked down and asked, what's going on? You don't seem too happy to see me. Tianlin asked, what are you doing here? He walked over and pinched Tianlin's face, leaving both sisters confused. Tianlin angrily scolded, what are you doing? Gu Changge replied, you disappeared for so long, I thought you were injured or dead. Looks like you're doing just fine, so I'm relieved. Is this how you show concern for me? She said while attempting to kick him, but he dodged. Gu Changge said, the upper realm is currently at war with the 8 desolations and 10 domains, and the Tianlan realm is the first to be hit. I can't afford not to care about you. He quickly draped his arm over her shoulder and said, so angry? Who upset you? Tianlin angrily replied. Let go of me. Who's your Tianlin? Shan and I thought to herself, did they have a deep grudge before? At this point, he asked seriously, all right, tell me, what happened? Tianlin looked at Li Tu and his group. Then she pointed and said, it was the saintess of the Huangyue Holy Land who said that Shan and I isn't worthy of being with Li Tuesday. She also said that we are narrow-minded, like frogs in a well, and that our Gu family should watch what we say. There are heavens beyond the heavens, and people beyond the people. She also said you're nothing. Upon hearing this, he showed a dangerous expression and said, oh. Yao Yu responded in panic, I didn't say that last part. No, I've never said it. Li Tu, beside her, sighed without expression. Gu Chang'e asked again, there are heavens beyond the heavens, and people beyond the people. Today, I'll see for myself. He said, someone come. Immediately, a subordinate appeared, and he ordered, go and destroy the Huangyue Holy Land. Yao Yu was startled, what? The elder incredulously asked, destroy it? His subordinate responded, yes. Yao Yu broke out in a cold sweat, you. Gu Tianlin saw that he immediately wanted to destroy someone's holy land and advised, there's no need for that. Just make her apologize and admit her mistake. He immediately replied, even in the upper realm. No one dares to challenge the dignity of the Gu family so easily. She must pay for her words. In the sky, Tianlin's parents were assessing the situation, to want to destroy someone's power just because of a single sentence, still as ruthless as ever. But his relationship with Tianlin. Yao Yu turned to Li Tu and stammered, Sir. Li Tu understood and said, there's no need for that, friend. Yao Yu was just speaking out of anger. It's not worth starting a war over something so trivial. The elder jumped out and roared, nonsense. You're just a useless son-in-law, and you dare speak to young Master Chang'e like this? Do you think you're important? Gu Chang'e thought to himself, this old man is flattering too much. Then he asked, so, what's your plan? Are you going to stand up for the Huangyue Holy Land? Or are you the person beyond the people, she mentioned? Li Tu calmly replied, friend, one should be more tolerant. No one can guarantee that what they see is the vast heavens and not a frog in a well. I hope, for my sake, you'll let Yao Yu off this time. Just as Gu Chang'e began to say, the elder interrupted, who are you? You think young Master Chang'e will give you face? You're asking for death. Seeing him interrupt, Gu Chang'e immediately fell silent. The second elder couldn't help but charge forward, gathering lightning in his hand, ready to strike. Today, let me teach you a lesson for young Master Chang'e. Yao Yu anxiously shouted, Sir, be careful. He's at the great saint level. Li Tu also raised his hand in response, if I were you, I wouldn't try to attack me. As the elder attacked, Li Tu muttered some incantation, creating a protective array. The old man was sent flying, crying in pain, ah. Sienna shouted, second grandpa. Seeing the old man flying towards them, the brothers immediately moved aside. As a result, the old man fell on his back. The brothers pretended to care and asked, Elder, are you all right? Sienna was shocked and said, he actually managed to easily block the second elder's attack. Sienna also asked, isn't second grandpa in the great sage realm? The rune's bright light shot straight into the sky. The ancestor of the Shen family sighed, the light of the rune reaching the sky means this is someone the Shen family shouldn't mess with. It's a pity it's the Gu family they're up against. In another place, the two saw this scene and laughed out loud, ha ha ha. The two men, both missing an eye, one of them said, I knew it. How could the master have been lost in that battle? Order my command, all the elders of the Tianxing sect, go meet the master's return. In another place, two girls were tangled up in bed, noticing the light. The two also realized, this aura is. Yes, it's the one who has already returned. Quick, get dressed. Our Baihe sect can't be slower than other forces. Thunder rumbled in the sky, and dark clouds gathered. At the Emperor Moon's sacred land, a huge lightning bolt struck, and a voice said, by order, the young master has come to destroy the Emperor Moon's sacred land. Many cultivators were shocked, saying, what happened to the Emperor Moon's sacred land? Looks like they're about to be wiped out. They must have offended someone they shouldn't have. Sigh, we need to be more low-key, the aura of those powerful beings is too strong now. Li Tu, seeing this, said, young people shouldn't be too arrogant. I was just like you back in the day, but being too rigid can lead to breaking, and this situation has fault on both sides. Why force others too much? Gu Changa replied, oh, fault on both sides. Sienna carries the bloodline of the Gu family, she's my sister. And how could my sister be wrong? Sienna, hearing him say that, was also surprised and stared at him wide-eyed. Hearing his unreasonable argument, Li Tu was speechless. Then he said, what a Gu family young master, who doesn't make sense. Gu Changa didn't care, he replied, then. Before he finished, the second elder, still unsatisfied, jumped out to interrupt, pointing and shouting. How dare you? The title of Young Master Changa should be addressed as Young Master or Young Master Sir. Seeing the old man flattering too much, Gu Changa was also speechless. The old man continued without paying attention, a son-in-law, no need for young Master Changa to act, I'll personally suppress him. Gu Changa raised his hand and gestured, leave it to you. The old man knew he had said too much, but still had to respond. Without saying more, the old man laughed madly as he rushed forward, ha ha ha. Sienna frowned. It seemed the old man was beaten like a dog, and sure enough, he flew as fast as he was hit. When he fell back, blood kept pouring from his mouth. Li Tu had just made a move, his face still calm as ever, as if nothing had happened, it was just a casual act. He sneered, unaware of your limits, this is what you brought upon yourself. Sienna was still shocked seeing him make another move, what kind of secret technique is this? Sienna speculated. Maybe it's not a secret technique, but runes like I once saw in the ancient books of the Tianlan realm. The ancestor of the Shen family also realized that. Is that the battle rune lost for hundreds of years? A special method of gathering battle intent by merging with heaven and earth. Once, a powerful person dominated the 8 wastelands and 10 domains, and he had the battle rune. After that person died, the battle rune was lost. So calm, could it really be the legendary person? Over here, Gu Changa also took out a blood-colored pill. He immediately threw it to the old man who had been beaten. The old man recognized it and said, 9 turn great rejuvenation. Pill. Many thanks, young Master Changa, I am incompetent and have lost your face. Gu Changa replied, it's not your fault. Although you've broken through to the quasi-supreme realm, you still couldn't break his technique. After hearing Gu Changa's explanation, Li Tu sighed, as expected of the descendants of the Gu family. They have a good eye. But their style of doing things is a bit like that of the evil sections. Gu Changa didn't mind his words and said indifferently, looks like I'll have to make a move myself. At this moment, many experts flew over from the distance, and the blind old man laughed loudly, ha ha ha, the Shen family is indeed bold, daring to make things difficult for the Lord. They really don't deserve to exist anymore. Someone nearby then said, the Lord is your family's son-in-law, what are you? How dare you break off the engagement? The Shen family's ancestor was also surprised when he saw these people fly over, Heavenly Saber Holy Sect. Lily Heaven Sect, and the ancestor of the Bai family, do you dare to trespass into my Shen family? Yao Yu, seeing the reinforcements arrive, confidently said, these are some of the most renowned experts in the Tianlan realm. This is the Lord's foundation. Li Tu couldn't help but laugh, ha ha ha, these people have come at the perfect time. The newly arrived people saw Li Tu and immediately cupped their fists, Heavenly Saber Holy Sect, Lily Holy Sect, Huanglanmen by family. We pay our respects to Lord Zhangxian. We pay our respects to Lord Zhangxian. What the hell, did they take the wrong medicine? Zhangxian. I heard that the mighty figure who swept the 8 desolations and 10 domains has long since died, right? At this moment, the old man was already sweating profusely. Upon hearing this, Nanwan and Sienna also recognized it, and both exclaimed in unison, that's an existence beyond the Tao. Seeing the shocked expressions of the others, Li Tu smiled and asked, how about we end this here? What do you think, young Master Changa? Gu Changa, after hearing this, took out a steaming item and retorted, end it here? It depends on whether this thing is willing. As soon as the weapon was taken out, it emitted a shocking spark. Li Tu thought he had the advantage, but when Gu Changa took out the heated object, he immediately broke out in sweat and blurted, "Imperial Qi." The blind old man and the others immediately realized something and exclaimed, "We're doomed." Without hesitation, Gu Chang'e swung his knife at the blind old man and his group, saying to them, as expected, "A group of trash." With one swing, he easily sent them to the abyss of pain. In the sky, only the saber Qi cut by Gu Chang'e remained, and the others had vanished without a trace. Yao Yu had been so proud just now, but now she was so shocked that she opened her mouth, unable to say anything. After Gu Chang'e finished cutting with his saber, he calmly said, "They came quickly, and they left just as quickly." Nan. Wan was also stunned, thinking, he sent them all off with one move. Xiener then observed him, he seems even stronger. Li Tu began to get nervous. He hurriedly spoke, "Young Master Gu, regarding today's matter, Before he could finish, Gu Chang'e charged forward and swung his 80-centimeter long saber. Li Tu, though surprised, quickly activated his rune shield, but it quickly shattered. The shield was soon shattered, and the blade was already pressed against the Zhan character on his forehead. Nothing unexpected happened. Li Tu was struck in the forehead with a single slash and flew backward, blood splattering everywhere. Before he could fall to the ground, Gu Chang'e stretched out his hand and pulled him back. Then he placed his hand on Li Tu's head, and Li Tu could only widen his eyes, unable to do anything. Zhao Chang'e spoke, still spitting blood. "Good acting. Tell me, how did you survive? I'm very interested in this matter." Upon hearing Zhao Chang'e's quick realization, Li Tu was once again filled with even more surprise. Li Tu then smiled and said, "You actually discovered it. I underestimated you, but if you want to kill me, then kill me. It's my bad luck. I won't say anything." Zhao Chang'e remained expressionless and didn't speak. Suddenly, a scream, like that of a pig being slaughtered, came from Li Tuesday. At that moment, he was being touched by Zhao Chang'e on the head, and his body began to slowly crack open. Zhao Chang'e said, "I can use the Super Soul technique." Soon after, Li Tu's body exploded into a puddle of blood. Tian Ni and Xian Ni exclaimed, "He's dead, dead." While Yao Yu shouted, "War Immortal Lord." Zhao Chang'e was also surprised, thinking, this mortal body is too fragile. With just a bit of Super Soul technique, it couldn't withstand it. The soul's maintenance area probably needs further investigation with the Hongmeng Zijian. Tian Ni ran over and asked Zhao Chang'e, did he really die so simply? He replied, he was already dead. She asked in confusion, "What do you mean?" The ancestor of the Shen family also asked in confusion, "Please explain, young master." Zhao Chang'e said, "This person was already dead, but his corpse still retained some of his consciousness from when he was alive. Over the years, that consciousness slowly recovered, then separated a thought that formed this body to move in the world." Saying this, he pushed Tian Ni's head aside. Not noticing, she still asked, "Are you saying that even after he died, he could self-recover using a fragment of his consciousness?" Xian Ni said in disbelief, "Is this the power of transcending Tao?" Zhao Chang'e continued, "If he recovered to his peak, it would indeed be troublesome." The ancestor of the Shen family sighed and thought, the vast world is limitless. Any powerful being can easily crush the countless forces of our Tianlong realm. Cultivation has no end. One cultivates until death. Just then, Zhao Chang'e's subordinate returned to report, "Master, as per your orders, the Huangyue Holy Land has been destroyed, and no one escaped." Yao Yu could no longer stand and fell directly to the ground, terrified, shouting, "The War Immortal Lord is gone, and the Huangyue Holy Land is no more. It's gone." She cried out, not knowing whether it was joy or sorrow, and kept laughing, "Ha ha ha." Tian Ni saw Zhao Chang'e's 80-centimeter long sword and went over to request, "This sword looks quite unique. Come, give it to me." Zhao Chang'e glared at her and replied, "Do you think I'm a fool?" Xian Ni now had a different view of Zhao Chang'e, thinking, he's actually a very protective person. I really shouldn't listen to others so casually. Tian and I once again rushed over to touch it but was pushed aside by Zhao Chang'e. Let me see it. Please, don't be so stingy. I just want to take a look. He refused, want to learn my moves. Do you think I'm as foolish as you? Tian Ni's parents, seeing this, were speechless, just looking at each other. After a while, the two of them also left, their faces cold, without speaking. Tian and I, standing by, broke into a cold sweat and didn't speak. She secretly glanced to the side. At this point, everyone sat down to talk, and Zhao Chang'e broke the silence first. Uncle Shen is truly skilled in tea ceremony. Tian Ni's mother responded, young Master Zhao Chang'e flatters me, I don't deserve it. He then said, actually, I came here just to see that little girl. I had no other intentions. If uncle and aunt mind. Before he finished, his uncle interrupted, young Master Zhao Chang'e is joking. How could we mind? Shen's aunt then spoke, after all these years, young Master Zhao Chang'e's strength has reached a level we can't even comprehend. Truly worthy of being the heir of the Zhao family. Xian and I transmitted a message, sister, the atmosphere seems a bit awkward. Tian and I replied, I know. After a moment of tension, Zhao Chang'e stood up, stretched, and said, all right, if there's nothing else. I'll leave now. Whether you stay at the Shen family or the Zhao family, you can stay wherever you like. As he was leaving, he said, I'll find an opportunity to go to Peach Village and visit Little Yao. Tian and I quickly replied. Actually, I don't have much going on here. I was planning to return to the village to see Master and everyone. Then Xianer chased after them, and the couple exchanged surprised looks. Gu Chang'e turned around and took out a book, handing it to Xianer, saying, by the way, I heard Xianer is dedicated to the Tao. So I just happen to have a jade slip with many mysterious techniques. Consider it a gift. I'll give it to you, as a brother. Xianer replied, this can't be. But while she refused with her mouth, her hand reached out. Xianer encouraged her, saying, Xianer, just take it, he has a lot of good things. After receiving it, she said, Xianer thanks young Master Chang'e. He immediately corrected her, young Master Chang'e is what others call me. Just call me brother. Then he gently rubbed her head and continued, the jade slip also contains a jade pendant, which is my token. If you ever want to cultivate in the heavenly realm, you can use it to contact me. Or if you encounter danger, you can use it to summon me. No one dares to bully you in the myriad realms. She blushed and responded, thank you, brother. Gu Chang'e smiled with satisfaction and said, Xianer is really well behaved, unlike some people. Xianer widened her eyes and stood still, as she noticed, it seems someone was talking behind my back. In the Shen family's grand hall, an elder rushed in to report, ancestor. The ancestor snorted and asked, what happened? The elder wiped his sweat, sighed in relief, and replied, he's gone. People nearby also sighed in relief, finally gone, it was suffocating. The ancestor immediately instructed, from now on, treat Xianer's parents with more courtesy. We really cannot afford to offend him. The scene shifted to another place, where there were high mountains and white clouds. Xianer asked, aren't we going to Peach Village? Why are we stopping here? Gu Chang'e replied, this is a divine item that can calculate the heavenly secrets. Before we go back, I need to settle the matter with Li Tuesday. Do you want him to take revenge on the Shen family? Xianer asked in confusion, calculate the heavenly secrets. Gu Chang'e immediately said, don't get any ideas. She replied, I'm just asking, why are you so stingy? After a while, the scene gradually appeared, and Xianer couldn't help but be surprised, what is this? Gu Chang'e confirmed, this is the place near the Boundary Sea Monument. From the screen, they saw an old man stepping out from a spatial rift, angrily saying, Gu Chang'e. Shen family. Xianer asked in confusion, is this the old man who saved my grandfather and ancestor back then? Is he Li Tu's master? Gu Chang'e agreed and added, he didn't save those two old men out of kindness. Alright, we found the place. Let's go see. The scene shifted to a secret chamber. The old man was walking in here. He knelt in front of a coffin and said, "Master, I almost brought Lord Jianxian back to the mortal world, and when that happens, I will erase the Shen family from the Tianlan realm." Suddenly, the coffin emitted a suction force, drawing the green smoke from the incense burner in the old man's hand. Then a voice came from the coffin, "You've done well these years." The old man asked again, "Master, what about the grudge with Gu Chang'e?" The voice from the coffin answered again, "Don't worry about that for now. The Gu family is not easy to deal with. I need to focus on gathering a new body and slowly recovering my peak strength. Besides, my enemies probably already know that I have been